Bar TV.
It's one of the most anticipated regattas of the year, where a relay takes centre stage. In 2014, Newcastle Rowing Club claimed the Throsby gift, ending a 9-year drought. In 2015, can their youngest ever crew defend their title? For the first time ever, the Newcastle Rowing Club Regatta will be streamed live, free and exclusively by Bar TV. So sit back, relax and enjoy as rowing debuts on the home of grassroots sport.
The cocks helps you with your direction, and if you have competitors that are going coxless, you also get a 9-second start. But it looks to
Well,
me
good
like
afternoon and
both of
welcome
these
to all
crews have a
those
cox,
streaming
so
into Bar
a nice
TV
even start
this
there.
afternoon, and we're
In
here
lane
live in
2 is the
beautiful
Newcastle
Newcastle
University
for
crew of
one of
Chantel
the
Lindsay,
big
Anna
races
Wells,
in the summer series of sprint
Ingrid
racing in New South
McKenna,
Wales. That's
and
the
Cruiser.
annual Throsby Gift
Elizabeth
Regatta,
Johnson is their
hosted by
cox.
Newcastle Rowing Club, and here joined by Lachlan from
lane
Newcastle
3,
Rowing Club.
Hey, go,
And,
guys.
Newcastle
we're
crew of
nearing up
Maggie
the
Fearon, Claire Lockhart,
lunch break
Riley Lewis,
and the feature
Memphis
racing
Blue.
of the day.
Should be a really good
And I
day.
can't quite make out who their cox is, but I think
We've
it is
had a
one
very
of our
busy morning of
fearless
racing. Lovely conditions here, a nice
rowers,
tailwind,
and they've been rowing
helping the
for a few
rowers down the
months, so I
course.
admire these kids so
those
much.
who are tuning in
But
might
if
watch
we
a bit
have
of
a look
rowing
now,
before.
we
We're
can see the
racing
Newcastle crew
over
have
an
actually got
interesting
a lead
distance
on
today,
Newcastle
2
University.
furlongs. That's
They're
400
pulling
metres in
hard through
metric
the
scale.
line. That
For
Cox is
the
giving
sprint
them
racing,
some.
it's part
I
of
think
the
that'll keep them
annual summer
motivated
series
enough
of
to take
sprint
out
racing
first
that
place.
culminates
Yes, it does.
in the New South Wales
Congratulations,
Championships
Newcastle
in a
Rowing
couple
Club.
of weeks' time at Penrith, and this is the championship event up in the Central Districts
Lane 3.
Rowing Association. As you can see on
And
the pictures
Newcastle
there,
lead in
some
second place.
rowers coming down the course in quad sculls, and it's been a very busy morning
The next
indeed
race,
with a bunch
race
of
97 of
heats
the
held
women's
this morning,
C-grade Cox to
and the
Cox's
championship
4
events
is sponsored
will
by
be raced
Clearview
this afternoon.
and
But
Matrix
first up,
Financial Services.
the first live race we'll have for coverage today will be an invitational race, a bit of a novelty event being held today here in Newcastle, which is the Wave Cutter Sprint, featuring a different type of shell than we're used to seeing on those who are familiar with rowing. Usually a very sleek
Here come
chassis on the
two
rear
crews
rowing
in
shell.
lane
This is
2
a
with
bigger
Newcastle
construction,
crew of
more
Anne Dunning,
sturdy,
Sally
and
Watson,
provides greater
Catherine
stability for the
Dad,
rowers,
and
Lachlan.
Alicia
Oh,
Leonard.
absolutely.
Next,
It's
Cox
a very
by
different
Anne
feeling
Arjun Lewis,
to
who
anything
is also
that,
our star Cox.
the normal shells that you
going
row
with the
in.
Cox.
It's a lot more stable. It's a lot more inviting for
The second
definitely
crew,
younger
Annabelle
novice
Harris,
rowers
Claudia
to
Kerr,
sort of get out on the
Jan
water
Harvey,
immediately
Casey
and
Rudd,
actually be able to
Gabby
row
Angus
properly.
is the Cox for
Not
Newcastle
fall in,
Rowing.
which I can remember when I was starting off rowing. I did
The
a
Newcastle
definite
crew
lot
all
of,
out
but
front
these
though,
wave
and
cutters, it's very difficult to flip them or even sink
unable
them.
to make it today, and Phoebe
Yeah, that's
Sanders
right,
has
and
made it in
also
time to
growing in
row with
popularity
that
is
crew.
rowing in more open water, coastal rowing and rowing out in open harbours
So,
like in Sydney.
the Cox,
And the
oh, no,
wave cutter is
there is a
ideal
Cox
for
laying
rowing
down there in the
choppier
stern.
waters. Here at
And it is
Newcastle today,
Arjun.
we've
Well
actually
done,
got
Arjun. So
lovely
the
flat
Newcastle
conditions on
Rowing
the water,
Club
just a
crew
bit of
are
a
going to
ripple
take
from a
out
light
first place
breeze, but the wave cutter
over Newcastle
can handle
Grammar's
pretty rough
crew.
conditions. And
Coming in now, just a few
a
boat
new
lengths
construction
behind.
being made by the Race 1 boat
Sweetwater,
company,
of course,
Phillips.
is an art unto itself.
Of course, the
Completely
boat builder
different
down
type of
there,
row
and
to
it's a
sculling.
fairly new innovation, so it'll be
It doesn't
interesting to
seem to be quite
see
as popular
how
these days
they
as it once
perform
was.
out on the
Really
course.
important
I've
that a
seen them
crew
a couple of
work
times
well
in
together.
training. I know you have as well, Lachlan.
Yeah, I
but,
have.
Okay,
haven't
so
seen them under
Newcastle
race
crew.
conditions, and we've got a very interesting field
Memphis,
assembled.
I'm calling
Yeah,
to you
absolutely.
again.
Today.
Memphis Born Blue, come and get your medal. Oh, she might be headed back for the gift final, Meg.
Now, the invitational race we have today features two of the finest athletes ever produced
Oh my
in the
God,
Newcastle area in the sport of rowing, in Murray Doust and Hugh McLoud, both of whom rode at World Championship level, at the Senior B level, which is under 23s, a very high level indeed, and medalists as well. A little bit of an age gap between them, but over 250 metres, I don't think that'll
Oh,
be
the
a
races
huge
keep
factor.
coming. Here comes
Absolutely
race 98, the
And,
championship
be
men's
interesting to see
single
how
scull.
two
Three
excellent
crews in this race.
technicians
In lane
of
1,
the,
Newcastle University's
the
Anthony
rowing
Booth.
shell
In lane 2,
compete
Newcastle
sculling in
University's
the wave
Conrad
cutter.
Bond. And
But
in
I
lane
know
3, Manning Rivers Murray.
one
Doust.
man who is widely regarded as the finest
is a close
sculler
race.
ever produced in Australia, which is Dan Noonan.
Although
He took out the wave
the
cutter a few
lane
weeks
3
ago
rower
for
seems
a
to
training
have
row,
the
and he was
advantage. But
very
the other
impressed
two
with the
crews are
performance,
certainly
and
not
particularly
giving
the
that race
potential to
away.
use it as a training vehicle. A lot of the elite athletes.
They're coming up to
Lachlan
the
was mentioning
50-metre
before
mark,
that it's a
not
great
far to
boat
go now,
for the
fellas.
novices,
And they're all
but a lot of
pushing
the elite
incredibly
athletes will put
hard. It's nice to see
power bands on the
good
boat
rowing
to
with
artificially
so much
slow
effort, and
as
they
a
still keep
training
their
method.
lovely
It's
stroke
almost
together.
like
And it looks to
training
me
at
like the uni crew
altitude
is
if
going
you
to
were a
take
runner.
this out. He's just
And the
pulling
wave
up in
cutter
lane one.
gives a bit more
Oh,
resistance, obviously, with a
congratulations.
bit
Well
with
done.
a
Lane
greater
one's
surface
Anthony
area
Nugent
in
has
contact
taken out
with
the
the
race.
water.
From lane
And
three,
whereas
Manning Rivers,
a
Murray
normal sculling
Douse,
shell
and
will
lane
surge
two's
out of the
Bond.
water when rowing, the wave cutter will tend to dip back in, and that's how it gains that stability, but also means there's a bit less run.
Yeah.
So it requires a lot of power to move the boat at great speed. So that's what the two gentlemen will be attempting to do today. Hugh McLeod.
So now we're coming up to
and
race
Murray
99's
Douse,
Championship Men's
and a
Under
couple of lads who
19
started out
quad
training on this
style.
very water here at Throsby Creek and moved all the way through the Central District's rowing set
This
up
race is
into
sponsored
the
by
New South Wales
Matrix
system.
Financial
Both
Services,
multiple
long-time
state champions in
supporters
New
of
South
Newcastle
Wales and
Rowing
national
Club.
champions before progressing to the international level. So it's a big treat for the
Oh,
locals here at Newcastle to see two of their favourite sons back racing on the waters of the Throsby Creek. On this magnificent
Darcy
patch of water,
Gay
which
was
is
actually
reserved every year for the sprint
the
regatta.
pops for the
absolutely.
women's
It definitely has
four
cleared
that
up as
came
well.
through then. He's
which is
making quite a
really
habit of
good.
this, Darcy.
Yes, it was
Congratulations,
threatening
you're
to blow
getting
over a little
great
bit this
Yeah.
morning, but it's just calmed
Okay,
down.
looking
as we've
down
neared
the course, I can
lunchtime.
see race
So,
99
that's
Championship Men's
very
Under
positive
19
development,
quad scull
but,
coming through with two Newcastle
I believe
University
most of the races today have been held
crews.
over 400 metres,
Should be
but I was
two.
speaking to
I
Hugh
can see
earlier,
one at this point.
and he was telling me they're going to row the wave cutters over 250 metres.
A lot sharper, a lot sharper.
Yes, well, it's a little bit of a slower moving boat than
Oh, yeah.
the
Looks to
scull,
me
so
like
it's
it might be
probably
a
a
row
comparable time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Hugh was a little bit worried
This is the lane
from
three
a
crew,
fitness
which
perspective
consists of
about
Jackson
seeing out the
Gosling,
full
Connor McDonald,
400
Nathaniel
metres. I
Young,
know
and
he
Bronson Elsley.
is very much built in the sprinting mould, and it's often been said he lives his life a quarter mile at a time. So this sort of racing is
With the Fox.
perfectly attuned to Hugh McLeod's style, and I know he hasn't really been doing the endurance training much of late, which is required to race over the Olympic distance of 2,000 metres. But I think he should be sharp enough over the 250
And the
metres in the wave
Newcastle
cutter
Grammar
today,
crew.
but stiff competition in the form
Newcastle
of
Grammar
Murray
one
Doust,
have just
who's already rowed
completed
3 times
what
this
looks
morning,
to be
and
a
I think
row.
has yet to taste defeat.
Nice
Wow.
form though, boys.
He's still moving the boat very well indeed, and you'll see when they get on the water a
All
contrast
right,
of styles.
we're coming up to race 100.
You still will have seen on the picture a few boats moving past here. We've got some still some heats running before we have the feature wave cutter event, and of course the Throsby gift, which is for a big cash jackpot prize.
Race 100 is
Which will be
championship
raced as a
men's
relay
under
event as well,
17
so
quad
that's a
scull.
very
This
different
race
format.
has 4 crews.
Racing
In
today.
Lane 1 is
and,
Endeavour, lane
all
2
part of the
Newcastle
spirit
Grammar, lane
of
3
this event.
Newcastle Rowing Club, and lane
So a
4
very
is
close
Lake
race
Macquarie.
going down the
At the
course here
moment,
with
the
the
race is
Endeavour Rowing
all
Club
about Newcastle Grammar School
and
and the
Newcastle
Endeavour crew.
Grammar.
My goodness,
Oh, that is
it's a
very
tightly
close.
contested
Looks like Endeavour have
competition
just
at the
got half a
moment.
canvas
And
margin,
the Endeavour
but
crew
very
just
keenly
seem to
contested
have the
race this
advantage.
one.
It's ball,
They have definitely
bow ball
lifted.
versus bow
Oh
ball.
yes,
They're
you can
bobbing
see
one
they're
another,
just
and
looking
Endeavour
across the
crew are now
two
pulling
crews, staring
away.
each other down.
They've got
It's a
about half a
bit of
boat.
a little clash of blades
at the
end there.
That
That can often happen. It's a very narrow course here.
But the Endeavour
So,
crew have taken out first place.
Requires a fair bit of
The
race
Newcastle
smarts,
Grammar
but I don't think that
crew in
collision had
second
any
place.
impact on the results.
No.
And the
No,
Lake Macquarie crew
don't
third
think the
place, followed
stewards will
by
be required
Newcastle Rowing
to,
Club in fourth place.
make any decisions regarding that outcome. Endeavour winning that event there in the quads, one of the junior races.
There
I
doesn't
think.
look to be a protest.
Oh,
Yes, we're just looking out there to see one
Endeavour
of the
Rowing
crews would
Club
like to
has run
protest.
through
They
that.
have to stick their hands up straight away and signal to the official, but we can see the white flag is being raised, so correct weight.
We're coming up to some more of
Endeavour
our
will be
finals.
declared the winner
These
there.
rowers in the next couple of races have already raced the course this morning in their heats, and they're moving on to the final. This first final we're going to see in just a moment is the championship.
Now, after
men's
the
under
wave
16
cutter
quad
event, the
scull.
Throsby gift,
There's 3
mentioning
Newcastle
it's
Grammar School
a,
rowers in this race. Ned
a
Turner,
relay
Matt
format.
Bruce,
So the
and
crews
Ian
will
Brown.
start at the start line. I think there's 3.
it's a double, it's a quad and a 4.
Yes, and I think they're mixed crews.
They are mixed crews,
in
yeah.
each boat. Yes, so boy and girl the double, and 2 and 2
There's only
in the
about 5 to 6 races
quad and
left,
4.
guys, until we get
So
to
they'll
the
race down to the
Throsby
finish, and the other crews will
final.
stand at
It's
the
a
start. And
really
as
exciting part of our day.
one crew crosses,
Tradition that
they'll
Newcastle
lower the
Rowing
flag,
Club
and
Regattas
the
to
umpires
have
at the start will signal
a
the
relay
next boat to
between
begin the
clubs,
race.
which carries a
It's
cash
very interesting
prize.
with the gift as well, because what can actually happen is if you get a lead in that first leg of the race, it'll
Of course, with quad
almost
sculls, those
compound
like names I
that
gave you
entire
earlier, that was only one member
of
from each crew.
the gift. So
The
you can
names of
find
the crew
crews
entered
that
in
get ahead in the first race, and then are just untouchable for the entire race.
Yes, it is very difficult to come from behind
Yeah, it is.
in the
It's
gift,
really-
especially, as I mentioned before, it's a narrow course. So
it
you
is.
can position yourself in the middle of the course with a bit of astute steering. It's very hard to get around a crew, particularly they chop up the water a little bit with the blade work, and that makes it hard for a crew to come from behind. But I was watching the heats this morning, and in the final certainly had their A crews, in particular boats, so we should see a bit of a diversity of boat speeds throughout the race, and hopefully an exciting finish, as it has been most years that I've been coming up here to watch the Throsby gift.
And Newcastle is actually defending the Newcastle gift this year, since they did win last year. So it'll be very interesting to see if they can maintain that win, because that was the first win they've actually had since about 2006 or 2007.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Surprised.
And it was last year was absolutely spectacular. It was, I'm fairly certain it was almost a photo finish between Newcastle and Newcastle University. So this year, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if they can actually defend that and take it out again.
Yeah, it's always very good to get a win over Newcastle University, one of the powerhouse rowing programs up here in Newcastle.
Oh, they are.
And I know the Bond family is a big influence across a number of clubs up here, and Conrad Bond is really the spiritual leader of that club.
He
And
absolutely
I've
is.
seen him in the boat park today. He's got a steely look in his eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting Conrad to have the boys and girls G'd up for the final of the wave cutter. Of the Throsby gift, I should say. So the wave cutter race is scheduled for a 12:20 start time.
Not long to go now.
Yeah, we've got a couple of double scull races coming down the course first. And as we've got about 10 minutes to go before the wave cutter event, we'll throw now to a preview of the course prepared by our man Ben.
So you've just got off the rowing machine, about to head out onto the course for your big race. You've finished your warm-up, so before you go out, have a drink of water, maybe a little bit of a banana to eat, get that energy. And then before I'd go out, have a chat to my coach, get some last-minute advice just to calm those nerves down before I go out onto the water to race the 400-metre course here at Newcastle Rowing Club. So you've rowed up just past the start line. Got a little bit of space there to turn around and come back to the start line to get ready to go. So for now, this is where you've got to keep those nerves under wraps. Just keep them away for the next 10-15 minutes or so. So you go up there, practice a few starts, get a bit of confidence, and then you head over the starting line to get ready for the race. The first 100 metres, this is all about power. Getting a good start, keep it going. After 200 metres, you're halfway. By this point, you know if you're in the race or you're not. Has your competitor blown you away, or will it be a battle till the end? After 300 metres, it's all about holding on. Keep your power, you're almost there, as the lactic acid starts to build in your legs. With 50 metres to go, put everything on the line and give it your all. This is it. So you finish the race, you're absolutely stuffed. If you've got first place and you've won the race, that's fantastic, and you head over towards the boat ramp to grab your medal. On the other hand, if you haven't got up in the race, it's a long row back to your club's tent on the other side of Throsby Creek. So there you have it. That's the 400 metre course here at Throsby Creek in Newcastle, where competitors will either succeed or fail by how well they use the conditions in one of the most unique races in Australia.
And we're back here live at Throsby Creek, and you can see on the screen there the C final of the men's masters doubles just coming down the course here. Pretty close race this, but Endeavour on the near side in front by about a length as they come into the final 100 metres of the race. It's the
quite close at this stage, but the Endeavour crew do seem
it's
to
like
have
Budworth and Donza.
They're certainly pushing very hard.
Yes, over in lane one there in the familiar maroon and white quarters there of Endeavour. And we get a good up-close shot of them. A bit of pain on the face there from Sean Donza. He's working very hard indeed. It is a sprint journey, and those used to the 2,000 metre race, you might think 400 metres would be a picnic, but
it's really not.
No, the lactic builds up pretty quickly, and a good burn over the last 100 there. The lads got the job done, and here's the final crew coming up to the line there to finish it off. And across the line.
The next race is the C final of the championship.
So we've just got one more race in the doubles before we come to our feature, the Wave Cutter Invitational, sponsored by Race One and Shaw Gidley Corporate and Insolvency Professionals. And once again, we've seen Hugh McLeod just a little row past from the very healthy crowd here on the western banks here of the Throsby Creek, and looking very smart indeed, wearing the colours of his home club, Newcastle Rowing Club, the tricolours, and looking very smart indeed with a dual samurai bun tied up in his hair. And he's coming to this race fresh. He's spent all morning just preparing himself in the way that only Hugh McLeod can. But he's up against Murray Doust, who's already had 3 races, so we'll see whether those have taken their toll. We know Hugh's on the water. I think Murray's preparing to get out there. We can see that's a good shot there of the wave cutter boat. You can see there, very solid construction there with the riggers attached, not dissimilar to a recreational sort of kayak mould, but shaped into the rowing shell, and with the riggers attached there.
Okay,
Murray will be hopping onto the water very shortly for the wave cutter, and I know as both very proud men, Murray and Hugh, there'll be no love lost between them on the course, and we'll find out if Hugh can oust Doust, or whether Murray will get the better of McLeod in a few moments' time. Here's that last, this is the C final now, so there were some heats held earlier this morning. It's age-based handicaps here in the Masters event, so these are the older gentlemen here, and you can see the number 1 crew there of Lake Macquarie in front of Manning River over on the far side.
Just pushed ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty close there. The crews are far apart, but not a big margin on the line. But they've done enough there
Manning River in first place, Lake Macquarie in second, and Port Macquarie come across now to take third place. Congratulations to all involved. So of course Murray Dowse now has to take a big deep breath and get himself back up to Newcastle.
So Hugh and Murray should be making their way to the start now. Is really don't know what to expect in this race. I'd say Hugh McLeod might be a marginal favourite, given he's got a bit of advantage of youth and has been in quite serious training for this sprint event for some time. He's, I'd say, semi-retirement from his elite rowing levels, but he's had a lot of issues with spinal injury in the last few years, and also some issues with heart as well. But you can see there he is, your Father John there helping him out get on the water. She's been rowing in Sydney for a number of years, but always Newcastle at heart. And some last-minute instructions there. And Hugh has been doing a little rowing on the wave cutters down in Sydney, so he should have a good handle of the technique required to move the boat over this 250-metre journey. You can see him there. It's really left nothing to chance in his preparation today. And although it is just an invitational race, Hugh McLeod has every intention of winning in front of his very vocal home support that he has here. And the crowd pouring in to see this novelty event in some respects, but also the chance to see
if he still got it.
Yeah, that's correct. A lot of people are saying he hasn't. One of the most respected voices in rowing is Barry Moynihan, a long time doyen of the sport down at Leichhardt Rowing Club. And he's been calling the demise of Hugh McLeod for a couple of seasons now. So he was once crowned the fastest man in New South Wales, Hugh McLeod, a couple of years ago. But he subsequently relinquished that crown to Liam James from the National Rowing Centre of Excellence there in Balmain, who achieved that title via a world best time over 200 metres at Penrith of 30 seconds set, a few years ago. Liam James. But Hugh McLeod still, I think, in his heart of hearts believes that he can move the boat. So we'll see how he goes against Murray.
No pressure, of course, Murray.
But I'd say he's a marginal favourite. 6-4 on. But I think local support here is split 50-50 between Hugh and Murray.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of a delay at the start. It wasn't scheduled for a 12:20 start. But I think Murray's had a number of races this morning.
Oh, he must be exhausted.
Yes. Hugh's been out there for a while as well, though, so it could be a bit of gamesmanship from Murray. He's a wily character. Been around the traps for some time now, so might just be making Hugh wait out there. It's getting quite warm.
Yeah, it is.
With the sun coming out, and it's possible that McLeod will have run his race before we get to the start here. But 250 metres in the wave cutters, I would say 90 seconds, give or take.
Roughly.
That's what we can expect. But the order of the day has very much been high rating, and the single sculls we've seen today, crews will be looking to rate around 44 strokes per minute. Now, I'm not sure the Murray and Hugh will be able to quite reach those heights in the wave cutter boat. There's Hugh still sitting prone by the side of the river.
I'm sure they're just preparing themselves.
A lot of nervous energy there from McLeod. He's laughing on the outside, but inside he'd be a ball of nerves. Murray, on the other hand, very experienced character. Nothing's going to faze him.
Don't forget that the Wave Cutter Invitational is going
choice words now as they
feature two
head out to the
very
start.
distinguished rowers. Hugh McLeod, who was a former Newcastle Rowing Club member and was a member of the Australian Under-23 lightweight quad, which took 4th place in the World Championship.
Testing
He's also
whether he
was also part of
Rig's not going to fall off.
Yeah, just optimising the foot stretchers there. For those who haven't rowed before, is you can move where the feet are planted there in the front of the boat and the slides as well.
Just to make sure you get the optimum catch.
Yes, optimise the strike angle. And McLeod, he's been out there for a while, so he should be ready.
All right, it's a very short course for these Wave Cutter Invitational warriors.
They're just paddling out now.
Hugh McLeod and Murray Dowse.
So it's McLeod there, we can see, in the red, white and blue of Newcastle Rowing Club.
Shorter course.
Looking very happy.
Doesn't make it any less
yes, well, he doesn't mind a bit of attention, Hugh McLeod, so he's enjoying soaking up the crowd
but
here.
a little bit of a challenge to get moving quickly. I'm sure that
And Murray
Hugh
following
and
out. So it
Murray
looks
are
like
up to the
Hugh
task,
will
though.
start on the eastern bank of
Okay,
the
so
course.
I am going
Does look like
to
the tide's with them as
VRO,
well, which is
Hugh
going
Murray.
to help them definitely.
Yes, tide's
I've been asked to give you a 10-second
peaked about,
countdown, so I'm
30
going
minutes
to wait
ago.
till you both lined yourselves up.
So they're lining up now. We're not far away from the
can
wave
almost
cutter.
stand up
I
and
don't
tap
think anyone
dance
knows
on
what to
these
expect
things,
here,
both
but
those
we'll
tables,
see.
but not quick as a result.
So all about the start here over the
Or
short course
monkey of
distance.
that
First 10 strokes or so will be
Okay,
critical.
so Hugh
And,
and Murray
I think they'll be
are
be surprised if we see
lining
either get past
themselves
about
up.
half slide
Oh.
over the course of this race. They want to be getting the maximum number of strokes they can into this
Absolutely.
250 metres or so. Now just lining themselves up. Murray's moving over away.
They're
He's
going to
keen
back
not to be
the
too
boat,
close
are
to
they?
McLeod at the start of the race.
Oh, I do like an extra level of challenge.
Wouldn't want to see a clash of blades at this
Oh no,
point.
perhaps not quite that brave. Perhaps just correcting their course.
It is definitely hard to
Okay.
line yourselves up when the tide is
Hugh
coming
and
with you.
Murray.
Yeah,
And it does look like
strong-
fairly strong tide, yeah.
Strong tailwind, yeah, they're moving
Don't forget,
down the
Murray
course. So
just
Hugh's
got
just
out
backing
of the
down.
Masters Championship double scull, which he won with his partner, but probably is still a little bit tough. Okay,
Here we
I'm
go.
giving you a count to 10. Hugh and
So,
Murray, are you
Murray, they
ready?
look pretty close to a start now.
Excellent.
Got a thumbs up
10,
there.
Thumbs up, he's
9,
ready. It's a bit of a
8,
rolling start
7,
coming up here, but we're ready to go.
5, 4, 3,
So that
2,
has them red light
1,
flashing.
go.
And racing, Hugh McLeod has a look across. He was a little bit tentative at the
Alright.
start there, and I think Murray might have got the best of him. But Hugh McLeod's quickly into stride and moving up the slide with a lot of purpose. He might have just had the better of the start from
There we go.
Murray and moved through after the first 10 strokes, but very little in it. I'd say Hugh McLeod ahead by about a canvas on Murray Doust on the near side.
Murray's definitely coming up now. Oh.
Murray's moving the boat well. He's looking a little bit fatigued there on the near side though, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pick it up and match McLeod. McLeod doesn't look across. I think he has Murray covered, and he comes up to the line.
Oh, hit the
And,
boy.
Murray just a little bit of a course from him, but as you can see, the wave cut locked. You said it was impossible to tip them,
It is impossible to tip
and
them.
that's proved to be the
Nice
case.
rowing from Hugh and
So
Murray.
Hugh
Proving the
McLeod
wave cutters
gets his
can
moment in the
move
sun,
very quickly.
finishes in first,
All right, well, this is all
ahead
by
of
way
Murray
leading
Doust.
to
In a
the
very, well, I was
final
surprised how fast they
Throsby
went.
Oh, it was.
which is one of the peak events of
I
that day.
I would say that they got them to speeds close to a normal single.
Oh, I'd say, yeah, about 80-85% of race speed in a single. I'd seen them in training before, really ploughing into the waves and going quite sedately. But I suppose nice conditions today, so
So our
the
first
Shell's
race
able
this
to plane a little bit,
morning
get a
was
bit of
the
run on the boat.
Newcastle University and
And
Newcastle
it's a little bit of a
had
tentative start from
against
McLeod,
another
but he was
Heat
able
one, and that gave us
to
Newcastle
settle
in
to
the
stride.
final.
Very nicely
Heat
pushed
two,
through, as I
we
say.
had Newcastle Rowing Club and Endeavour Rowing Club, which presented us with Newcastle Rowing Club as their competitors.
But both Murray and Hugh returning to a hero's welcome here
Well done.
on the banks of
Hugh.
Throsby
Well
Creek.
done,
I am wondering if he will get a medal for that race.
Well, he's
Our relay's
Father
about
John
to start.
involved in the organising of the Regatta,
If
so
you
I'm
didn't
sure,
watch earlier
if
today,
nothing else,
you'll see that the
He'll get a big
first
congratulations.
second
get a kiss and a cuddle from his old man.
The mixed double has finished the course. The
There he is, Hugh
three-ball
McLeod.
crew,
Coming past the crowd now,
the
just giving a bit of
crew
a
come through.
wave back to the crowd and appreciating the applause for his
The double
efforts
crew
in the wave
comes
cutter.
first. The three-ball crew
Still
comes
definitely
through
looked like he's
second,
going strong.
And our quad crew
Yes, he looks to have
comes
overcome
through
a lot of the health
fourth.
issues he's had in
The
recent
crew
years.
aren't able to move off until they see their flag, which you might see over at the
And
other
perhaps
side
this
of
could
our
augur a
course.
big comeback from McLeod. He may be perhaps be able to return to some of his former glories.
Oh, wow.
A long time ago now, but perhaps no mean feat meeting Murray Doust.
Absolutely not.
And I think Hugh's brought a bunch of the wave cutters out here. So I know a few of the punters here in Newcastle today are trying them out. Newcastle Rowing Club has a few in their shed. So many of the locals of Newcastle can always come down here to Throsby Creek, where the Newcastle boat shed is. Magnificent boat shed it is too, rebuilt a few years ago after the big floods. And very welcoming rowing program here, run by a big team of volunteers at Newcastle Rowing Club. Oh, that was the wave cutter event. The next is the big feature of the day, though, which is the Throsby gift. And you can see there that there are three clubs represented, and they're the three big local clubs: Newcastle Rowing Club, Newcastle University, and Newcastle Grammar. For those just tuning in, Lachlan, maybe go through again the format for the gift.
So the first leg of the race is a race between 3 doubles, and then there is a race between, I think it's 3 quads.
And we've got the doubles on the course now. They're off and racing.
Yes, they are.
And that's Newcastle University in the maroon colours, out in front in the centre of the course by about a length from Newcastle Grammar on the far side in the predominantly white colours. And on the near side of the course in the red, white and blue is Newcastle Rowing Club. So Newcastle falling behind early, and the early advantage goes to Newcastle University. So they've sent out one of their strongest pairings early, and they're rewarded with a length advantage, and the flags are about to drop for Newcastle Uni.
There we go, flags
and
down.
it's down, and it's about a length back to second and 2 lengths back to third. So a lot of work left to do for Newcastle Rowing Club if they're going to get back in it in the next leg. And here we have the fours, Coxed fours. Once again, it's mixed, so the crews can boat any way they choose to, but most tend to go with the 2 men in the stern pair and the 2 women in the bow pair. And they're off, and they've come through about 150 metres now. The lead out crew, which was Newcastle University, the first to have the flag drop on the doubles. We're getting a good shot there of Newcastle Rowing Club, but we can see how far behind they are there, relinquishing a big margin.
There's a huge gap
With that first leg, and it looks like they're out of it, but very close between the Newcastle University and Newcastle Grammar School. About a length, which would have been the margin when they set off these 2 boats. So Newcastle Grammar holding Newcastle University. So you can see the bit more experience of that Newcastle Uni crew. They're holding, but they've got plenty of overlap there in the Newcastle Grammar boat. And when the flags drop, there'll still be 2 crews that have a chance of winning. Newcastle Rowing Club battling on manfully there on the near side, but they're too far behind over this short distance to come back and win. And the final will be the Coxless quads. That's the last of the 3.
That is the last of 3, yes.
So all to race for here, of course, the big $500 first prize, sponsored by the New South Wales Government, I believe, going to the winning club. And so Newcastle University set off first, but you can see there the course, just a bit of a wobble there, a bit of a correction as they were moving a little bit towards the western bank. They're joining the middle lane there, which is always tricky on this narrow course. And Newcastle Grammar moving up to challenge on the far side.
This is definitely going to be close.
Yeah, Newcastle Uni still in front, but Newcastle Grammar, I'm not sure if they've got much left here. You can see Jason Nissen in the 3 seat of that Newcastle University. He's a very experienced oarsman, and he'll be trying to hold it together in the middle of the boat there as Newcastle Grammar challenge on the far side, but still University just in front, but Grammar coming at them with every stride, and they might be moving a little bit better, Newcastle Grammar. They're coming through, and a very well timed race from Newcastle Grammar. They've brought out the big guns right at the finish here, and they've moved through to a 3/4 of a boat length margin almost as they come to the finish, and coming right over the top, Newcastle Grammar taking out Newcastle University, and an upset result there, and protest on the water. We'll hold the phones. We can see the stroke man in the Newcastle University boat. Is that Conrad Bond? He's put the hands straight up in the air. Now there was a bit of a wayward course from Newcastle University, so I wonder if perhaps there was some a clash at the start perhaps, or some movement from Newcastle Grammar out of their lane. But also there's we operate in the flag drop and the crews go, so it could be a protest based on the timing of the crews setting off. But he was very definitive there. I think it was Conrad Bond from a distance. The hand went straight up, and he's immediately in conversation with the race officials. Now the margin on the line was about half a boat length, so usually, in my experience, very hard to get a protest upheld. It is. In the sport of rowing. Really needs to be definitive evidence that the result would have been the other way. The burden of proof is very much with the protesting crew. I know a lot of people think it should be more of a penalty system for those that breach the rules, but this one's going to be settled in the stewards' enclosure, and we won't know the result for some time. I imagine they'll be deliberating, the umpires. They're generally not known for the timeliness of their decision making. So So I'm hearing it might have been contact on the water.
Oh.
It is a narrow course here, and especially with the crews having to marshal at the line and get away very quickly under this relay format, it can be difficult.
While we're waiting just for confirmation of the results from that Throsby gift final, I'd like to remind you all
It can be difficult to get the starts just right, and it only takes a small error at the start to result in a collision.
We've got the solution to that problem.
And my view was obscured at the start, so I didn't quite see them. All I could see as they came across was that Newcastle University had come out at quite an acute angle from the course, and I would deduce that that was the result of some contact with Newcastle Grammar.
So there's just a bit of a consultation happening down here
you've got
regarding the final
Jason
results.
Nissen and Conrad Bond in that Newcastle University boat, two very experienced campaigners, so they'll be well aware of the rules, whereas they're up against a younger crew from Newcastle Grammar, so if it comes to pleading the case to the stewards, I would say that
Newcastle University might have the upper hand.
Yeah, I would suggest that Conrad Bond would be a very persuasive voice.
Absolutely.
In that protest. Big money on the line here, $500 for the winning club. not any old race.
No. Yeah, they definitely want to stake their claim.
I haven't seen a protest in the Throsby gift in the times I've been coming up here.
Neither have I.
So high controversy.
Yeah.
As I said before, it's hard to say how long this decision will take. They can deliberate over these matters for some time. We have the umpires on the course. Their views will be sought, as well as those the race referee who sits on the bank at the finish. So there'll be a few different voices being heard.
From the people in the Port of Newcastle bow number tent, it's really important that you return your alphanumeric bow numbers promptly to that tent.
See, there's the officials that followed the race down.
If you have a bow number that you've finished with, you need to take it back to that tent straight away.
So their opinions will be critical in determining the outcome here, but Conrad has come off the water. He's pleading his case with the officials. So my initial impression was that with a margin of half a boat length, and clearly Newcastle Grammar had the boat speed advantage at the finish, that it would be difficult for the result to be overturned. Given that Newcastle Grammar was certainly the faster crew, but from where I was, I couldn't see the impact of the start. No. And certainly they started about a length in front, didn't they, from when the flags dropped?
Definitely.
So,
the start in that final third leg is imperative.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's also the hardest one, right? Because you've been sitting there marshalling for a while, and you've got to move into position very quickly. So I will wait for the official verdict to come through to us here. It's of course going to delay the presentation of the magnificent Throsby gift trophy while we wait to determine which was the winning club, Newcastle Grammar or Newcastle University.
Running on time. So race 107, the men's degrade Coxus 4, is due to start on time at 12:45 p.m.
Newcastle Grammar crew are still out in the water, so they actually haven't have the opportunity to come in and speak to the officials. They might be coming back in now. But all pressure on the officials at this point.
They want to make the right decision, they want to make a good decision.
Yes, it's going to be difficult in these circumstances. Bound to be one aggrieved party at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But there can only be one winner.
There can be.
Just stay on for a bit. We'll just grab the program and write down the names of the next race. Okay.
Yeah, still with you, Josh. So, we're just getting some dirt on who won. And Josh, you're clear at the moment.
All right, so I just had a word to Conrad Bond and Jason Nissen. They're just coming off the water. And the grounds for the protest were interference at the start. According to Newcastle University, the protest they've lodged was that first count being that Newcastle Grammar started early and subsequently collided with the Newcastle University boat. There's a hole in the boat actually, so there's some credence to that claim. And I have to say, in the balance of probability, it seems likely, given that they should have started a length in front of Newcastle Grammar, which is why I was surprised that there could have been a collision.
Yeah.
Because Newcastle University should have had a clear water advantage. So Conrad looked extremely confident, I have to say, that the result would be overturned in favour of Newcastle University. But we'll see.
I mean, what could happen is that they actually rerun the race. Or do you think that's unlikely?
I don't think Newcastle University would be happy with that.
Yeah, okay,
I think they are strongly of the belief that
they should be entitled to a win.
Yes, that had the race been run fairly, they would have won the race. So I was surprised actually that Newcastle Grammar were moving that much faster than them at the end, because it was the top combination, the strongest crew from Newcastle University with Bond and Nissen in that final crew. But the hole in the boat could be part of the explanation for that deficit in boat speed.
We've got some physical evidence there, which is definitely going to help their case.
And certainly, would you recommend a wave cutter experience for anybody who's considering rowing?
If the umpires didn't say it that way.
I love that. That's wonderful. It's for everybody, not just for potential rowers. And of course, if you're interested,
we've got a couple of minutes before we go back to normal racing now.
Yes, hopefully we get a result declared.
Hopefully.
In the interim.
Certainly are taking their time to deliberate.
There's been a few controversial incidents on the water today involving Newcastle Grammar. There was an earlier race where Newcastle Grammar failed to start and the race was declared a rerun.
Hey, Huey's just let me know that if you're interested in a wave cutter experience, certainly come down to the rowing club, to the end of the rowing club there. He's got information.
So they've had a busy day already, the officials.
Wave cutter agent himself.
But no sign of a decision being made, so we will take on notice.
Even if you're somebody who wants to row and you're not after speed, just the fun of being on the water,
get back to you as soon as we can. There's some of the officials down near the finish line there.
Put a medal down.
But I think we might have a resumption of racing before we get a result there, so we'll have to plough on. There's a lot of championship racing up this afternoon from the heats we've had this morning. So much to look forward to.
Still looks very good.
Yeah. I know, it's all happening.
How'd it feel? Was it good?
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah.
Bit out, but it's what happens.
Yep, sure.
So changing the commentary box. Ben Homer with you now, and Hugh McLeod as well. Now, just before we go, Lachlan, do you want to? They're the times for the commentary we got this afternoon. But Hugh, the Throsby gift. I was in it for Newcastle, and I've heard there's been a protest. We'll find out and get that to our viewers as soon as we know what's happened.
Thanks very much, Ben. Good to be back in the commentary box this afternoon.
We're just awaiting official
and it's always really exciting here, isn't it? Always a bit of. I love a little bit of controversy in racing sometimes. You know, a little bit of action, a bit of excitement, and it really is. It's cliche, but it's all happening here at Throsby Creek today, wouldn't you say?
Well, that's right. I can't wait to see what does happen. But I know we're out of it. But if there is a re-row, it's going to be at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we're going to still be in it again. So we'll see what happens, how that all goes. Now, the races that we've got to come up here, the men's degrade coxless, or coxed 4, is going to be one of the next races to come down. But the most important races that are coming up are the championship races. The women's under-19 single scull. That one's sponsored by GHD. That's got Memphis Born Blue and Coco Ferrant. And then we go into the under-17 single scull and the under-16 single scull for the women. So they'll be interesting races, Hugh.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sprint racing is like this over 400 metres or the quarter mile on the old speed. You know, that really, I find it levels out the playing field. You can get some of the big fellas. You get someone who's 6'4" and someone who's 5'2", and the little fella can usually push up hard against the big boys. It doesn't, size is totally out of the equation in this one.
And really, it's all about the start, isn't it? You have a bad start and it's all over for you.
Oh, mate, the race is a start.
That's exactly right. Well, normally races, just to explain to viewers that don't know, races that are of the higher grade, so there's 4 grades, so there's A, B, C and D grade. A and B grade are 2K events and C and D are 1K, so normally for the better rowers the races are 2K, so 400 metres is pretty much a start.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, by 400 metres in over a 2K race, you're starting to settle into a rhythm and find your speed and getting that mid-race rhythm going on. But here there's no room for settling, no room for finding anything. You just got to go and go and go and never change a thing.
How was the wave cutter out there today?
With 2 Newcastle University crews.
Really are
Take you through a little bit.
I recommend anybody who has the chance to have a go, have a go. It's a different style. You can't really
double. And we're looking down the course.
Racing style. It's
an Endeavour rowing club, which presented us with.
But everything else is the same. The setup is the same. It's a standard rigger. It's standard foot stretcher, standard slides. There's nothing fancy about it, nothing obscure.
And Newcastle Rowing Club. Flag for Newcastle Rowing Club is 3rd.
Well,
Down now to see how the sweep all crews.
Our producer is actually showing the footage to the using TV.
So, Newcastle University still have the advantage.
Newcastle Grammar has gone into Newcastle News Lane because I'm sitting there on the course. You will see that men's B grade.
And here come Newcastle Rowing Club.
Into Australia in a moment.
Can't see a lot of splash off
Not that
those
we're not
displays,
covering
which
the
means there's no negative drag, and they're moving quick.
afternoon.
Newcastle Uni are across the line
championship
first,
events, but
followed
we will
by
keep you up to
Newcastle
date with
Grammar
it, and
School.
Port Macquarie that
And
have
here
got
come
the
Newcastle Rowing
victory in
Club,
that one.
which means a
Because they
staggered
Port
start has
Macquarie
occurred
in
for the
first
quads,
division of the
back at
men's
the
D
starting
grade.
line.
Coxless and Cox 4.
Nice work, everyone.
Yeah, they are checking the footage to see if there has. Well, Newcastle Uni.
Looking down the course to see the quad.
Like they were in Newcastle Grammar's
Nice work, everyone.
They are still just double checking everything, but yeah, Hugh, I was just on the edge of the water here. And,
looking down the course to see the
quads.
Yes, I can see all splashing, which means that they're well underway. And again, it's Newcastle Grammar School and Newcastle University pushing one another as they come up through the course, fighting for that cash prize that comes with first place.
The grammar crew will
Newcastle Grammar School seem to have a slight advantage at this stage. So Newcastle University will do all they can to make up that space. Newcastle Rowing Club are also keeping them honest. That young crew of Newcastle Rowing Club, many of them their first time ever.
Let's go,
And
crews have finished, so giving them as much of that as Newcastle University are pull away. Newcastle Uni are going to have to put some big strokes in to be able to pull them back. So we come to the 50, Newcastle Grammar reaching out and really applying pressure through that water. A beautiful finish from that quad crew. Congratulations, Newcastle Grammar School, first place, followed by Newcastle University. And here come Newcastle.
Crucial. Well, the next race is Division 2 of the men's
can't see a lot of splash off those displays, which means there's no negative drag, and they're moving quick,
but the next race
giving it
is
everything
the
they've got.
Women's Under-19 single sculls, so that's coming up.
Opportunity to have a
I'm
clean
just going to
finish.
head out a bit for a sec, Hugh. We're just going to go speak to someone, but if you just have a chat about that, I'll be back in about 2 seconds.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So we're looking down now to see how the sweep all crews are going. Newcastle University would have had the first start because their double came across the finish line very quickly. But Newcastle Grammar are keeping them a tussle. But Newcastle Uni are keeping them honest. There's a real fight going on now between these two crews. The Newcastle Rowing Club have just come into my vision and they're certainly giving it everything they've got.
Two in this one. Both
Newcastle Uni at this stage seem to have the slight advantage. It's a bit hard to see with the angle at the line here though. Giving them all that they've got. So, Newcastle University still have the advantage. We're about at the 50-metre mark. And Newcastle Uni's got some nice sweep oar action going there. You can't see a lot of splash off those displays, which means there's no negative drag, and they're moving quick. Newcastle Uni are across the line first, followed by Newcastle Grammar School. And here come Newcastle Rowing Club, which means a staggered start has occurred for the quads back at the starting line. Nice work, everyone.
Yes, you am back. We're just sorting through. Still, this protest goes on. They're still checking.
Looking
out,
down the course to see the
we have
quads.
got
Yes, I can
the,
see oars flashing, which means that they're
Certainly
well underway. And again, it's Newcastle Grammar School and Newcastle University pushing one another as they come up through the course, fighting for that cash prize that comes with first place.
So tell me, then,
Newcastle Grammar School seem to have a slight advantage at this stage. So Newcastle University will do all they can to make up that space. Newcastle Rowing Club are also keeping them honest. That young crew, Newcastle Rowing Club, many of them their first time ever.
And Coco, I would say, is more would be better over a longer distance. So I would lean to Memphis in this scenario on 400 metres. If it was a 1K event, probably lean the other way. So it's a close one, very, very close. But I'm gonna that's my tip. I just think Memphis has got the power to get the job done here. We've got someone in the camera here. This is quite funny. Someone having probably doesn't know the camera's there.
hello.
Josh is down there, so he's having a good time. But Jack, if you just want to sort of interview Jack style while I'm asking him the questions, Jack, what's the story with the protest? They were checking our footage, going through it again. Took forever.
They've reviewed the footage and they seem to have figured not much more than they knew out. There's now there's more questions being asked about where the infringement actually occurred now. So that's what they're chasing. They're thinking that maybe it wasn't the boat collision. Maybe that was something unrelated. Maybe it was a jumping at the start. So.
Well, do you think it's unfair that some footage will be shown, but then there's other bits that may be missed out? I think that's a bit. I don't think they should be going off the footage. I think they should be doing it themselves, because there's bits of footage that you can see and there's bits that you can't see, and I don't think that's fair on both crews.
Oh, on the TV producer Ben, I won't jump to conclusions there, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, we're just about to get underway. We'll check that other camera, see if we've got some issues with it. I think. But we will check to see how we're going in this women's under-19 event, the single scull. So that one, as we said before,
I think we've just gone underway now.
Yes, yeah. From what we can see, one of our cameras is just flickering around a bit, so we've got to take it from this camera angle, and it will be Memphis-born blue in lane 1 on this near side. Coco Fearon will be on the far side of the course when they come into shot. Looks like we've got that angle back, which is good to see. Here they come.
Oh, I think they're going past it.
Here we go. There we go.
We are.
So Memphis-born blue in the white. Coco Fearon in lane 2 without the overshot on. Born blue looks like she's just got one out of the water there, and Coco Fearon has the lead. So they probably passed the halfway mark in this event. So a little bit of overcast skies coming over here at Throsby Creek as they keep rowing up, Hugh.
Yeah, well, there's no room for sportsmanship in a race like this. If someone drops an oar, someone misses a stroke, that's when you've got to pounce. You've got to make the most of it.
Well, as I said, it is very, very close, and Coco Fearon and Memphis-born blue are going at it, and it is excruciatingly close. We might have to get a replay of this one when we see it at the end, because Memphis-born blue's bow is just getting ahead of Coco Fearon, but that is on the angle. The course is angled. That's what we have to remember. So she does look in front, but now she is powering away. Coco Fearon, well, Memphis-born blue's going great guns at the back end of this race, and Coco Fearon's faded, I think.
Nice long stroke there by Memphis. But yeah, Coco Fearon just has that power and determination. I think she's going to motor on through there.
Great race there from Memphis, and she'll finish off in first place in that event. Coco Fearon comes through in second, but that's a tough one for Coco, because she's normally in the under-17s, but she's been put up because there was only one entry in the 19. So a good row from her all the same.
Excellent race.
The next one is the next race we've got is the Championship Women's Under-17 Single Scull. Nicola Atkin, she's a very good rower, Hunter Valley Grammar. Bridie Bland from Newcastle Grammar, and then Grace Harvey from Newcastle Rowing Club will be on the far side, and that we are underway in this one. So there you go. It's from left to right of your screen. You've got Grace Harvey, then you've got Bridie from Newcastle Grammar in the middle, and Nicola Atkin. And I'll be very surprised if Nicola doesn't win this one.
Well, we're going to have to see what happens through this course, but it's great to see a good spread of the local junior talent here. 3 clubs in the final. Always good to see a spread like that.
Well, it's the 2 grammar schools that are going to battle now. Both of them looking like they're level. They're pretty close, actually. Very, very close to each other's oars. Wonder if we'll see a clip, but it's Nikayla Atkin that's now pulling away from Bridie Bland from Newcastle Grammar. And she is pulling away a lot now, Nikayla Atkin. Probably one of the best under-17 rowers in the CDRA, if not the best. She's really pulling away now, putting through the power as we come into the last 100 metres. The boys there showing that it is the last 100. Probably about half a boat length back is Bridie Bland from Newcastle Grammar, and then I'd say back to Grace Harvey. It's a fair distance, or boat length and a half. As we come up to the finishing line, it's Nikayla Atkin who's going to get the victory here in the Championship Women's Under-17 Single Scull. Great row from her. There she is. Coming through in second is Bridie Bland from Newcastle Grammar, and then Grace Harvey in third from Newcastle Rowing Club.
Well, you picked that one like a dirty nose, Ben. That was fantastic.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one before.
Bridie Bland had a really good start out the blocks there. I thought it was she actually had the lead for the first few strokes, and yeah, it was just Nikayla, as you said, powered on through for the latter 3/3 or latter 3/4.
Well, it's amazing how quickly those races come along. Now all of a sudden we've got the under-16 single scull, the Championship Women's under-16. Across the course, Natasha Moore in the middle there. On the far side, it's Tyler Casey Knight from Newcastle Grammar, and it should be Felicity Hull on the near side, but she isn't in shot at the moment. Powering away, I don't think she is in the race, Felicity Hull from Central Coast, so looks like it's going to be a very easy victory here for Tyler Casey Knight from Newcastle Grammar.
So Nat Moore just seemed to be struggling a little bit in the water there, just had a bit of a funny stroke, a small crab just caught her off guard. And yeah, Felicity there has taken advantage, got out a good lead and settling into a nice easy rhythm now.
Heading up into the last 50 metres now, and we have got the Throsby gift presentation, which is probably coming up in about 10 minutes time, so we'll get that to you as soon as we have it. And there it is. So Tyler Casey Knight wins the Championship Women's Under-16 Single Scull here at Newcastle Rowing Club, sponsored by Clearview and Matrix Financial Services. Natasha Moore goes through in second spot in that one, and the next race is the just the Women's Under-16 Single Scull. But the next championship event is in about 5 minutes, so we can just have a chat for the moment, Hugh, about the day. But that championship women's quad scull probably 104. That one coming up.
Oh, we're looking forward to that one.
That one just on your screen now, but we still haven't heard much about the protest. We're just checking if there has any. So it's all these races, which it is fantastic to see. These are all the Penrith girls in the women's under-16 single scull. Because what happened was there was too many for them to be put in the championship event. So there's 9 Penrith competitors. There's 8. One's been scratched, and it's fantastic to see the girls from Sydney up here. And for this race, it's going to be Murrell Moonkian who's going to cross the finishing line in first. But that's great, Hugh, that people are going to come up to Sydney for a Newcastle Regatta. Yeah, well, it's not the first time that's happened. I remember a few years ago we had a number of competitors from a lot of the Sydney clubs. I think this year suffered a little bit because it's fallen on the same weekend as the Head of the Yarra, which was yesterday in Melbourne. That's always a big draw card. But I remember in the past we've had a regatta that's I think at its peak we got over 1,000 seats. Put it in perspective, I think today we're looking at about 806 seats or something like that, just over 800 seats there. But a 1,000-seat regatta is a big regatta. Yeah, it's awesome, and hopefully next year, if we're back again, then it can be bigger and better. But here is the next Division 2 of the women's under-16 single scull. Penrith again, all across the course. So once again, great to see them here. I'm surprised Penrith came in, and then there's not too many others from out that way. Would you know why that is? Would it be because Penrith have a younger roster that they want to bring up, or? That's a good question. I really don't know the answer to that. I'd say it's probably that this regatta is probably a very good regatta
for Penrith. I think that it would suit their needs very well. It's a great regatta for young people and novices, juniors to come and have a bit of a go. And like I said, I think some of the other clubs have with a bit more of an older focus. Were probably spending their time down in Melbourne this weekend, and that did certainly distract from a lot of people coming up. But there are some people just absolutely love sprint racing, and they'll go to any length to do it. Some people, it's not for them. They like those longer races. You know, it's really, it comes down to the individual. But I say now we've got this level of attraction, putting on Bar TV here, and the wave cutter experience that's been a bit of a draw card too. There's always something new here. I think now the word's probably getting out, and I'll see that this regatta is only going to get bigger and bigger.
Well, here's Penrith again. It looks to be lane 3, maybe with just the lead over lane 2, which is in lane 3 for Penrith is Talara Forbes, Isabel Jeffrey in lane 2. I can't pick it from here. They're both going to go off both at the same time. We'll just see if we can hear it in the announcer. Oh, gee, we've had someone go in, down. The Penrith row has gone in, and that's not good because there's rocks and oysters over there. I've fallen in next to those rocks, and it is not fun at all.
Certainly can be a bit perilous over there. Fortunately, I think the tide's nice and high, and there's a good little bit of sand building out over there. I actually remember the first time this regatta was here, we actually all based on the other side of the river. This level of attraction.
It was brilliantly done the way she got in.
Here. And
very tasty.
the wave cutter.
Here's the replay.
That's excellent. Been a bit of a draw card too. There's always something new.
Really tight finish, this one between the two girls.
This regatta's only going to get bigger. Talara Forbes, this is going to be.
Well, here's Penrith again. It looks
she's
to
not
be
going to enjoy watching that one
maybe with just the lead over lane 2, which
celebration?
is lane 3 for Penrith is Talara
just got a bit hot, needed a cool
Isabel Jeffrey in lane.
Well, there we go.
2. I can't pick it from here.
We got it,
They're
Jack.
both going to go off.
Hang on a
at the
sec.
same time.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Just see.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, gee, we've had
someone go in, down.
We've got another race coming out. It's another Penrith race.
Penrith
now, Hugh, you're heading
out
for a bit. Lachlan's going to come in and join me. And I won't see you when you get back because I've got to head out for a race. But Lachlan will be in here when you get back, and we will catch you in about 20 minutes or so.
Excellent, Ben. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Hugh. So that Penrith race coming along now. Division 3 it was there. Alyssa Wagner and Zoe Green in the race. So it was Alyssa that got the job done in lane 2. Alyssa Wagner. And Lachlan, you're back?
I am back.
Just in time for the women's quad scull, the championship women's quad scull.
This will be an exciting one, I think.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds. It's an interesting way it works in the Masters because depending on your age, you get a different start. So this one's sponsored by the Davis family, by the way. Lane 1, it's Lake Macquarie. They go off go. Lane 2 is Endeavour. They're off 4 seconds. And Lane 3 is Lake Macquarie off 6 seconds. So there you go. You can see them. A little bit of a flag in the middle, just splitting them up nicely, I think. There it is, Lake Macquarie on that near side, Endeavour in the middle, and then you can't see the Lake Macquarie 2 crew. Well, you can now. There they are, just getting ready to go.
Water's nice and flat, isn't it?
Yeah, the wind really came up this morning, and then it sort of flattened out a bit. Now, just quickly, I want to get your opinion on the Throsby gift. Was the protest warranted by uni, or is there a bit more drama?
From the information that I have heard, I believe that it is extremely warranted. Look, what have you heard, Ben?
Well, as I said, I said to Hugh a few moments ago that I was just on the side here. Newcastle Uni had a massive lead going to the last leg, and then Grammar overtook them. I'm going, what's going on here? So Endeavour, there you go. You did see one of the crews did start before the other. That is Endeavour Composite. It looks like they've made a late change, and there is a Port Macquarie rower in the back in the bow seat for Endeavour, and they are surging through the middle of the course. Endeavour, I think the side that the crew that always has sort of the medium amount of time before they go always does the best. Goes a little bit of a bridge too far, but if you're sort of 4 seconds, you're not too bad off. But there's a lot of wake there actually.
Oh, it's huge.
You see, bit of water spraying from the bro before. And Endeavour now coming through the middle of the course. So
that is a huge lead. That is at least definitely over a boat length, I reckon.
yeah, Endeavour surging away. Lake Macquarie paints a pretty picture with Lake Macquarie on either side, but Endeavour just flying up the middle with the Port Macquarie rower in the bow seat. Well, they must, as I said, they must have made a late change. They come into the last 50 metres. Really good row from them. They started off 4 seconds, and they're going to do it pretty easily over Lake Macquarie in the end, and they do it nicely, Endeavour. So Katrina Whiteley, Michelle Aduzel, Tracy Woodison and Diane McShane.
Solid win.
Really nice win there from Endeavour. And the next race is a women's D-grade double scull, so it's a D-grade event. We will still keep it on screen. And these go on forever. There are thousands of these, 7 of them. The next championship event is at 129.
And,
so we've got a little bit of time to wait.
What race is the championship?
The championship event at 129, we will be taking the championship women's Coxed or Coxless 4, Newcastle Uni versus Newcastle Grammar.
Oh, like the gift.
So, yes. Oh, there could be a little bit of drama there. We'll still find out what the latest was on the gift. Arjun, are you able to just go and find out for us what the latest is on the protest, please?
Arjun Lewis, our roving reporter.
Yes, he was the Cox of the 4 in the Throsby gift, so that bloke with the bright sunnies on had them on. Well, Lachlan, how have you enjoyed the day? Newcastle Regatta?
Yeah, it's been really, really good.
How long have you been at Newcastle Rowing Club for again?
I've been since 2012.
2012, and has the regatta been getting bigger and bigger every year?
Absolutely. Like last year, I think last year it had the most amount of seats of any regatta in the entire season.
Yeah. Why do you think everyone likes this regatta?
It's a great location. It's very convenient because it's in the middle of Newcastle. It's the hub for obviously the CDRA, and I'm very happy that this year that a lot of Sydney and Penrith crews have come down, because I remember last year we didn't actually have that many.
Just to let people know, the CDRA is the Central District Rowing Association. Oh, here we go. We've got a bike rider. He's flying. He is flying. Doesn't know he's on Bar TV. Look at him go.
Oh, I'm just hoping for a stack. Oh.
Slowed it up a bit. He's going to catch up to someone, I think. Are we going to get him on? Yeah, they're all on. This is the best thing about rowing. You've got so much time, you can look at all sorts of things. There we go. There's Josh in the corner. Yeah, the CDRA, the Central District Rowing Association, it is pretty much... Can we stop this? I can't talk properly. The Hunter Region Rowing Association, that's pretty much what it is.
Goes all the way up to Taree, because we've got Manning River here as well.
Yes, yep, Manning River here, up to Taree, and there's a summer regatta in January, so that's always a fun holiday up there in January.
Oh, it is.
The summer regatta.
And there's actually the CDRA Championships there in February as well, which is one of the other big regattas of the season.
Yes, the best of the best. Get the big wins up there.
Oh, yeah.
The women's D-grade double scull is down the course at the moment. It's Newcastle on the far side. That looks like Mel. She's been doing a bit of commentary. She's out there. Mel Moore, Natalie Downing. And then in the middle of the course is Newcastle Grammar, Lara Thurch and Vivian Kuru. And we're just getting some word quickly. Central Coast, Carol Isaacs and Karen Morris on the near side. So Arjun's told us, Lachlan, what's he said?
He said they're still deciding.
We can't get the engraver onto the trophy yet.
No.
I think we need a re-row. Newcastle, we might win it now.
Well, would you want to have a re-row, Ben?
I would. I wouldn't mind it. Have another dig. But here we go. Mel Moore and Natalie Downing. They are flying down the course now. Newcastle Rowing Club. Can they get a victory here? They've got a boat length and a little bit over Newcastle Grammar and Central Coast on this near side. Central Coast probably closer than Newcastle Grammar. But Mel Moore and Natalie Downing are going to get the victory here. The women's D-grade double scull. There's nothing better than seeing Newcastle get a victory.
That's a home win.
Here. That's right, a home win here at Throsby Creek. Mel Moore, Natalie Downing cross the line. Hooter goes in the background and they get the victory. Central Coast, I think, maybe second.
And it was looking like a probable second, yeah.
Grammar in third. Look at Mel, she's ecstatic. Can we get close up of Mel? There she is. Natalie Downing, she's almost crying, I think.
Better watch out, they might run into the bank.
That's nothing worse than celebrating then. Oh, down. But there we go. So Newcastle with a win in that race. But as I said, great to have your company here on Bar TV today. It's a little bit different for us than we normally have. Normally we're at the
the mainstream sports, but today a little dabble in rowing, and I think it's great to see it all. It's been a good day so far. The rain has held off, and now the blue sky's starting to come out. And
it's great.
And Newcastle Rowing Club look like they're going to get another victory, 2-2. It's Greer Fearon and Jamila Dad.
They're surging forward.
Now, if you're thinking we're saying the name Fearon a lot, there's 3 of them. They're triplets, so it's very hard to tell them apart, Lachlan.
Really?
As here they come into the last 100 metres. Oh, too easy for Jamila Dad and Greer Fearon. They are just flying away. Determined looks on their faces. And I don't think Jamila's in that boat. I think they've made a late change. Oh, no, they've lost an oar. Gee, she did well to get hold of that, Greer Fearon. Otherwise, it was all over for them. Yeah. Central Coast are going to finish in second. Gee, Lachlan, that was close. We might have a look at the replay. I'll check if we can get... We've almost had a collision. Cameron's had a bit of a mishap as well, I think. So, almost had a collision between Newcastle and Central Coast over there, but it was Newcastle that won. Just checking if we can get another shot of that. Yes, it's coming. Producer cops it all the time, but he's doing a good job over there. Here we go. We'll have it for you in a sec. But yeah, Lachlan, that protest for the Throsby gift. Drama. As soon as Bar TV turns up, there's just drama. No one knows who's going to win.
No, it's certainly the most controversial one that we've had in a number of years.
Yeah, that's right. I can't remember one this controversial in a while.
Now, would you want to have a re-row?
We do have another race coming down. It's Newcastle Grammar. But here we go. Melmore and Natalie Downing. They are flying down the course now. Newcastle Rowing Club. Can they get a victory here? They've got a boat length and a little bit over Newcastle Grammar and Central Coast on this near side. Central Coast probably closer than Newcastle Grammar. But Melmore and Natalie Downing are going to get the victory here. The women's degrade double skull. There's nothing better than seeing Newcastle get a victory.
That's a home.
And it was a good win. A couple of good wins for Newcastle there.
Oh, it's great.
Triplets. So here it is. It's very hard to tell them apart. You see this all slipping out of the hand here. Here they come into the last 100 metres.
Very focused.
Too easy for Jamila Dad and Greer Fearon. They are just flying away. Determined looks on their faces. I don't think Jamila's in that boat. I think they've made a late.
There we go.
Oh, no, they've lost
great recovery as well. Really good.
She did well to get hold of that awesome recovery, because otherwise it wasn't looking good. It was all over for them. They got the win. So Central Coast are going to finish in second. Gee, Lachlan, that was close. Port Macquarie getting the victory. We might have a look at the replay. Second spot. I'll check if we can get it. We've almost had a collision. Cameron's had a bit of a mishap as well, I think. So almost had. What packages have we got that we can run?
Division 4, which is the women's degrade double skull.
So, with you, Josh.
And we have lane 1, Newcastle Grammar, lane 2, Endeavour, lane 3.
Do you want to do John's interview or not?
Yeah, I think how long have we got before that?
So top spin tennis operates from District Park.
So the next race is coming up. Still the women's degrade double skull. As I said, there's seven divisions of this. If we have some time, we might be having a look at an interview with Newcastle Rowing Club President John McLoud. He's been a terrific servant of Newcastle Rowing Club. He's been awesome, hasn't he?
He's a life member.
That's right, and he has done so much, hasn't he, Lachlan?
Oh, there's no one more giving to Newcastle Rowing Club than John McLoud.
Well, we are going to have a look at John's interview. Now, here he is, the president of Newcastle Rowing Club, John McLoud.
Rowing Club President John McLoud. John, at what age did you first get into rowing at?
I first started rowing in my early 20s, about 21, at Newcastle University. That was following an interest in rowing, which started way back when the GPS Head of the River was televised on black and white television in those days, and I was always fascinated by it, although I never went to the schools or anything like that, but was fascinated by this rowing race, and it's from that it led me to joining Newcastle University Boat Club.
So how long did you spend at Newcastle Uni?
Oh, about 5 years, while I was at university, and then after university for a couple of years, and then other things came up in my life, and I went away from it for quite a few years.
Now, coming to Newcastle Rowing Club, of course, started in back in 1992. We'll go into that in some other pieces later on.
Were you involved with NRC from the start of the 1992 era?
No, I became aware of Newcastle rowing in 1993 and was involved in it from then, which is still fairly early in the piece, but it had been running for about 9 to 10 months before I got involved.
And what was your first role here at Newcastle?
I didn't get involved in the organisation of the club for a couple of years, and then the first role I think I had, I became the club captain.
Now, why did you want to get into these administrative roles or committee roles at Newcastle Rowing Club?
One of these things, I suppose you can't help yourself from time to time, Ben, that the positions come available, you feel somebody has to do something, so you get involved and you start doing it, and things grow from there. I've always tended to, anything I've been involved in, get involved with the organisation of it, and this is just another one of those, which is extrapolated into being the president here for many, many years.
Now, your first year at president was, as president, was in 1998-99, where you shared it with Jen Bissett. How was it like sharing the role of president, and how did it work?
Oh, the sharing, it wasn't actually sharing so much as she was the president, and then because of circumstances had to, in effect, resign from that position, so I took over at that stage. We didn't actually share the time together.
Okay.
We worked together on the committee.
Yep. From that point onwards, you've been the president here at Newcastle Rowing Club. What was it like when you first started?
Well, the club is very different to what it is now. It was located over where the Crown Plaza is, in a building nowhere near as salubrious as this one, and our membership was fairly strong. It did get up to quite high numbers around the 70s to 80s in those early years, and actually did get up around to the 100 when we were in our the shed before we were here. But the rowing was much smaller though. We had far fewer boats and a lot less people competing than we have now, and so it was very much fairly easy to control, I suppose, or to manage. But the facilities we had were nowhere near this, and we had to launch directly into Newcastle Harbour and rowed in the basin, which is an area where we're not allowed to row at all now. So we were very much in the middle of the fishing boats and traffic. The traffic was very different to what it is now. The tugs were based down near where the marina is now at one stage. The marina wasn't there. A very, very different scene on the water to what it is now.
Now, of course, your children, Hugh, one of them, a very good rower. He's coming up this year for the Regatta. How's it been to see them through their rowing career?
Oh, two of them, I've got three sons. Two of them, Stuart and Hugh, have both taken up rowing. Stuart was really the reason I got involved in the club here, because he came along with me when I stuck my nose in the door and had a go and thought it was great fun. And he went on to row till he left school, and then went in other directions. Hugh, his younger brother, took it up, and when he was 14, and then went on to row through here into his 20s, and he competed for Australia 3 times in the under-23 lightweight quad, and it was after the completion of that he moved to Sydney.
And of course, this year he's coming up for the Wave Cutter Invitational, which is going to be good to see him out there on the course.
Taking that event out.
So welcome back to this regatta here, Newcastle Rowing Club regatta here at Throsby Creek. Great to have your company. Ben Homer and Lachlan Patey in the commentary box with you. And Lachlan, latest on the gift, they're still deciding.
They are. There is still a lot of deliberation happening up the main tent, the regatta official tent. But I think it's one of the most controversial things we've certainly had surrounding the gift. So I will be very interested personally, I know you will be as well, to find out what the final result is. But just to update everybody, there have been reports that there was a hole in the Newcastle University boat.
Gee, I didn't hear about that. Which boat was it?
I don't know. I'm not sure which boat it was, but
so there was a hole in the boat.
Apparently, look, we've got to get that confirmed. But if that's not the case, there was still a definite clashing of oars and a definite hindrance, supposedly, to the Newcastle University crew.
So in your experience of watching the Throsby Gift, what do you think they're going to do?
I think they should give it to Newcastle University, because Newcastle University had such a lead coming off that second leg, and it was just drastically cut by that third leg that it doesn't seem very fair to me. But look, if the regatta, I'm not a regatta official, so we'll have to see what they think. But I'm sure they're all very up there deliberating right now, trying to figure out what they will finally do. But yeah,
yes, as soon as we have info, we'll come straight to it and let you know what is the story, because it is, as I said, we've had so much drama. We've got the youngest ever Newcastle Rowing Club crew out there in the Throsby Gift, all juniors.
Oh, it's incredible.
19 years is the oldest member, which is me actually. So I'm the old man. But yes, it was a very, very interesting event. Now, I'm just going to go, we will take a little quick break. We're going to be back in about 3 minutes or so, 3-4 minutes. We've got some big races coming up. We've got the Championship Women's Coxton or Coxless 4, the Championship Men's Under 19 Single Scull, the Championship Men's Under 17 Single Scull, the Championship Men's Under 16 Single Scull, Championship Men's Masters Quad Scull, and that rounds it all out.
Also got quite a few championship races.
That's right. And then the men's degrade double scull, and that's going to be a fun few races there. So
absolutely.
We'll just take a quick break. We'll be back in just a sec, and here on Bar TV. It's great to have your company from the Newcastle Rowing Club Regatta. We'll catch you in a few minutes.
See you guys.
So you've just got off the rowing machine, about to head out onto the course for your big race. You've finished your warm-up, so before you go out, have a drink of water, maybe a little bit of a banana to eat, get that energy. And then before I'd go out, have a chat to my coach, get some last-minute advice just to calm those nerves down before I go out onto the water to race the 400-metre course here at Newcastle Rowing Club.
You've rowed up just past the start line. Got a little bit of space there to turn around and come back to the start line to get ready to go. So for now, this is where you've got to keep those nerves under wraps. Just keep them away for the next 10-15 minutes or so. So you go up there, practice a few starts, get a bit of confidence, and then you head over the starting line to get ready for the race.
The first 100 metres, this is all about power. Getting a good start, keep it going. After 200 metres, you're halfway. By this point, you know if you're in the race or you're not. Has your competitor blown you away, or will it be a battle till the end? After 300 metres, it's all about holding on. Keep your power, you're almost there, as the lactic acid starts to build in your legs. With 50 metres to go, put everything on the line and give it your all. This is it.
So you finish the race, you're absolutely stuffed. If you've got first place and you've won the race, that's fantastic, and you head over towards the boat ramp to grab your medal. On the other hand, if you haven't got up in the race, it's a long row back to your club's tent on the other side of Throsby Creek. So there you have it. That's the 400 metre course here at Throsby Creek in Newcastle, where competitors will either succeed or fail by how well they use the conditions in one of the most unique races in Australia.
And we are back for Bar TV at the Newcastle Rowing Club hosted CDRA Sprint Championships here down at Throsby Creek in Newcastle. Still looking very good on the course. We've got quite a few championship races coming up now. So yeah, they're the big ones. Should be very good. Next couple of races coming up, we've got Championship Women's Coxed and Coxless 4, Championship Men's under 19 Single Scull, Championship Men's under 17 Single Scull, and Champion Men's under 16 Single Scull. So quite a few, smaller boat races, so they should be very interesting, should be very fast. Single sculls do often go a lot faster than the other boats, and water is looking incredibly flat at the moment, which is absolutely perfect. Just waiting for some of the other races to come down now as well. As I said before, it is very, very flat, which is great. We've had a few waves prior, but it's perfect conditions down here at Throsby Creek, which is really great. And we look like we're coming down now with the Championship Women's Coxed Coxless 4, I do believe. Yes. Looks like a Newcastle Grammar crew made up of Annabelle Forrest, Claudia Kerr, Rhiannon Harvey, Casey Dykes, with Abby Angus coxing. And in the other lane, we've got Newcastle Uni with Cherie Budworth, Rowan Maxwell, Madeline DuPont, and Penelope Salters. And this race is sponsored by New Lambton Vet Clinic.
We also have paver sales today available.
It's hard to tell, but from what I can see, I'd probably say that Newcastle University is actually in the lead. Very strong race. Newcastle University definitely does have a lead there. Oh, but it's getting a little bit closer now. Newcastle Grammar's definitely lifting up. Oh, it's getting close now, really close. This is the point in the race where one of them is either going to push away. Grammar has lifted, they've pushed away. Wow, this is incredible. By about half a boat length. pushing through. And they've got it. Well done to Newcastle Grammar there with Annabelle Forrest, Claudia Kerr, Rhiannon Harvey, Casey Dykes, coxed by Abby Angus. Great race. And for those of you that don't know, sweep, oars and sculling are the two types of rowing that we have here at Newcastle Rowing Club, with sweep oar being 1 oar each and sculling being 2 oars each. So that there was the 4. And we've got a single race coming down now, Championship Men's Under 19 Single Scull, sponsored by Closter's Group. And from what I can see, it's a race between two Newcastle crews, with Evan Gresham definitely pulling away there, racing Harrison Bendel. Oh, he's really pushing through here. Evan Gresham is one of the most solid rowers that Newcastle University has. He's overcome a lot of adversity during the past couple of years with a lot of injuries, but he's definitely bringing it home strong with an amazing lift from him there. Very powerful strokes. The thing about sprinting is that you've always got to keep the rating pretty high. He's pulling it through there, wow.
He's rowing really well. We haven't seen him as much of training as we'd like because he's been a busy, study boy. But he's
Evan Gresham there, almost taking it out, and he's taking it out. Well done for someone that hasn't actually been training that much, due to the fact that he's been completing his high school certificate. Oh, race between Newcastle and Newcastle Grammar. Looks like we might have a bit of a, collision with the boy there, but that's all right. Well done, great race. Really well done there, with Evan Gresham taking it out with first. And the next race as well, we got the Championship Men's Under 17 Single Scull.
Okay, the next race is race 127, the Championship Men's Under 17 Single Scull.
I'm just amazed personally that the weather is maintained and it is still so good here, because it is one of the flattest Newcastle regattas that I've actually seen. Usually is fairly wavy. I remember last year was extremely windy and we actually had a number of canopies blow over, which was not good for some cars, let me tell you that. Next race is 127, which is the Championship Men's Under 17 Single Scull, and that is also sponsored by Closter's Group.
Lane 1 is Newcastle Grammar's Emerson Bosman. Lane 2 is Will Gardner. Lane 3 is Endeavour's Brendan Budwell.
Real tough race here. Newcastle Grammar's trying to lift real. Emerson Gosling there, trying to really push it through. Chase Brendan Budworth from Endeavour. Endeavour's very noticeable. They've got the classic pink and white. Real good race, very close, nice and dispersed. Congratulations to Brendan Budworth there from Endeavour, taking out the title. Followed by Emerson Gosling from Newcastle Grammar, and then Will Gardner from Newcastle Grammar. And I'm joined by Hugh McLoud. How you going there, Hugh?
G'day, Lachlan. Great to be back here in the Combox.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Sound like you've been running.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. How are you feeling after the Wave Cutters event?
Quite pumped. It was a really fun race.
Oh, it looks great.
They're a great boat to row.
Oh, they are.
And as I was saying before, anyone who has the opportunity to have a go, have a go. And if you're part of a club, I'd strongly consider getting some for either your club or your school or whatever. They really do make a big difference. They're the most popular boat in the shed here, so I'm told.
Oh, it's having rowed them many, many times, I can tell you that they are. They're just great. And especially for people that are starting out rowing, they're perfectly stable, and actually surprisingly quick, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, you got to do things a little bit differently when you want to get right up to speed.
Yeah.
Got to shorten up a little bit because they've got that short little stubby stern.
Yeah.
Now what are we looking at the moment here?
We are looking at the Championship Men's Under 16 Scull.
Oh, we better call this. What do we have here? We have.
Looks like we've got Kieran Fallon. It's 3 Newcastle Grammar crews.
We've got a Sydney Rowing Club over the other side there.
Oh, do we?
Congratulations on your first
So we
place.
do.
And second place will be taken by Kieran Fallon, followed by
Looks like Seb Young from Newcastle Grammar takes up the title for that one. And that finishes our run of singles there. We've got a couple of quads coming up. Championship Men's Masters Quad Sculls. I was just saying before that I can't believe how flat it is.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's this lovely little protected spot. I've been here when it's been whitecaps.
Oh, it was like that last year, and it was just impossible to row in. I don't know if you heard about last year, but we actually had a canopy blow over and actually blow into a car. It was that windy.
No, that's been known to happen at some regattas.
Yeah.
I've been at a regatta out at Cirque, the regatta centre at Penrith there. One day when a heavy wind blew up and one of the schools hadn't quite tacked down their tent too much.
Oh no, and it just blew straight over.
Didn't just blow straight over, it blew straight over and straight into the boat park.
Oh wow.
Took out a few boats along the way.
Oh,
as bad as you could get.
Yeah. Really not good there. Next race coming up now is the Championship Men's Masters Quad Scull, which is the A final for that event. And we've got Endeavour in lane 1, Manning River in lane 2, and Port Macquarie in lane 3.
Port Macquarie here with a 1 second handicap off the Endeavour and Manning crew. So 1 second over 400 metres, you know, that 1 second can feel like an hour.
Oh, it's quite a bit, especially because the course is very condensed. It's a lot.
Favourite saying of some of the boys at Sydney Rowing Club, this race, the toughest quarter mile in sport.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that definitely. It's just, you just got to keep the rating absolutely high for the entire thing.
And here we have the Endeavour crew, really motoring through here. Got the stroke rate up nice and high there. Got a length there on top of Manning, and it really was just down to Manning and Endeavour there, with Endeavour pushing through to get them by a length, and Port Macquarie unable to make up that 1 second handicap.
Oh, absolutely. And they do look very tired after that, and they should. That was a very well-rowed race.
Well, I think one thing that's taken for granted a bit here with these races is that a lot of people here like to do lots of races.
Oh yeah, they do.
And what you seem to forget is that a sprint regatta can be more exhausting than the full 2K.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember doing the New South Wales Sprint Champs over 500 at Cirque, and only doing I had a heat and a final for the scull, and I think I had a heat and a final for a double and a heat and a final for a quad. I've never been more exhausted.
Yeah.
I only did 3Ks worth of racing, but geez.
Yeah, it's very exhausting because you go all out every single time you row, and it's a sprint. That's what it is. It's a sprint.
You're using the most energy you can.
Yeah.
Full expenditure, empty the tank. So that, in that regard, got to give a bit of a shout to Murray Douse there. He was at a slight disadvantage.
Yeah.
Having had quite a few races today already, and he literally just got off the water from his championship double.
Here we go. This is race. This is the second part of that Championship Men's Masters Quad Scull.
So this is the F category. Port Macquarie over there in lane 2, well and truly ahead. No, sorry, Lake Macquarie, I should say, over in lane 2, well and truly ahead of Port Macquarie. Again, superior stroke rate here.
Oh, absolutely.
Is the difference.
Stroke weight is imperative to a sprint.
There is no time for pretty long rowing in a race like this. It's just thrash and splash.
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't that a beautiful umpire boat?
Oh, it is. It's incredible.
I think that's Hugh Dunstan built that himself. On top.
Oh wow!
That's it is magnificent.
Hugh Dunstan was a long-serving member of the Newcastle Rowing Club, wasn't he?
Newcastle University.
Newcastle University.
He was a bit of an old hand there, and his children, I think, learnt to row through Merriweather High School.
Yeah, they did. Nick Dunstan, who's I don't know if he's still rowing for Newcastle University, but he was there when I started at Newcastle Rowing Club in 2012.
Who are looking at improving their rowing. Here comes Division 1 in this race with Lane 1 Newcastle Grammar, Lane 2 Newcastle Uni, and Lane 3 Newcastle Grammar. And at the moment,
so these are the men's D-grade doubles coming down the course now. Bit of a mix here. Some of the with D-grade, it can be the older hand newcomers or the young juniors, maybe with a season or two under their belt that just haven't quite cracked it yet. But always a bit of an interesting mix here down D-grade. I love to see very unpredictable racing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you never really know what you're going to get.
Good turnout from Newcastle Grammar today.
Oh,
they're out in force.
They are, absolutely, and they always seem to be, because they've got a really good rowing program there at Newcastle Grammar. I'd probably say it's their flagship sport. And I don't know. Usually there's Hunter Valley Grammar as well, which is another school that's often, particularly within the CDRA region.
Well, they've got that lovely new shed up there, haven't they?
Oh, they do. It's beautiful.
I haven't been there myself yet, but heard good things.
Yeah. They're often out in force. Division 2 coming down the course down the men's D-grade double scull. You can see in the middle there we've got some older gentlemen racing some newer gentlemen.
Come up to the finish line and we can give you that left-footed shoe.
David Donnelly and Michael Goodshow from Newcastle in lane 1. Michael's been at Newcastle Rowing Club for a very long time and is quite a good rower.
Guys, there's still so much fabulous
so we're seeing
our canteen. All hot
seeing here that age isn't necessarily dependent.
No.
Fabulous fresh sandwiches, wonderful fresh bananas.
Often something that you find out in D-grade.
Finish your day.
So been some great food on up here today.
Oh, it has been.
You had one of the baked bean rolls?
I haven't, no. I might, when I go off my on my break, I might go and have one of those. I remember last year they did a really nice pulled pork roll as well. So there's always great food at this regatta. Newcastle Rowing Club really does go all out, and it is definitely appreciated by everyone that comes.
I'll tell you what, they're going all out in this race.
Oh, they are, absolutely.
So it looks as though Newcastle Grammar is just going to hold them off there over the far side.
Oh, I hit the boy as well.
Whoosh.
Never mind. I'm sure she loves you still.
Got to be careful there. Very good race. Coming up now to Division 3 of the men's D-grade double scull. And Hugh, I understand that you've had quite a few health issues over the past couple of years.
Okay.
I suppose every athlete has their little niggling injuries.
Yeah.
In rowing, it's common for the back and the hips to give a little bit of curry every so often. Some people handle it better than others.
Yeah.
Some people are a bit more susceptible. I had to recently change my training program. Found recently that the long sessions wasn't agreeing with me. For years we do big 20k, 30k sessions, and it was just that backing out was becoming a problem. I soon found out I could actually get quite a good session out in about 10k's. Just being a bit more focused on intensity.
Yeah.
And I was able to recover better and showing some big gains in the last couple of weeks. So had my first 2k race in a couple of weeks since I've been back in training. And
where's that at?
That's the reindeer regatta. I think that's actually next weekend. The reindeer,
down at Cirque.
At Cirque, the annual reindeer regatta there. Starting the first splash over 2Ks with the New South Wales Sprint Champs the day after that. It's a good bit of fun.
Yeah.
But I'll be using that as a bit of a gauge, and hopefully we'll see over the next 6 or 8 weeks there between that and the Tari Summer Regatta, a big favourite of mine.
Yeah, it's one of the big ones of the season, definitely.
Absolutely love that regatta.
Oh, it's great.
I'll be looking forward to seeing how if I get any level of improvement between now and then, and see how I might make my mind up about the state championships here. You know, see if we can have another little splash.
Do you know when the state championships are? They're usually around March, I'm pretty sure.
February, they usually are. Usually around that second weekend of February. See if we can bring up the dates here.
Yeah, okay. And that's probably, in my opinion, that's probably the biggest regatta of the season in terms of level. That's probably the equivalent of the state level for rowing. This is very much regional, this regatta. But you see some of the fastest crews at the New South Wales State Championships.
Well, certainly at the New South Wales Championships in recent years, there's been a big focus on Rowing Australia as a selection regatta. So that's brought some of the big heavy hitters from interstate, and the small boat racing in particular is some of the finest you'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Small boats there, meaning it's predominantly, well, in fact it is only doubles and single sculls and pairs, which is the sweep equivalent of a double with one on each.
It's Friday the 12th to Sunday the 14th of February.
Okay, wow, so coming up definitely. And do you know if you'll be rowing at the CDRA Championships in?
No, I think I made a decision. Well, now I'm as a member of Sydney Rowing Club.
Yeah.
I made a decision a few years ago. I thought I should really leave that to the regional competitors. It's an important development race.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't think it would be doing it justice at the moment for me to come in from Sydney Rowing Club and take the spot of somebody else. It's always, that is the gauge. For myself and my father, John McLoud, have always said that is the gauge for a young rower in the district. If you're considering national selections and things, if you're thinking about state team and nationals competition, where are you standing in the district?
Yeah.
And to take out the CDRA Championship, that's a sign that, okay, you might have some, it might be worthwhile going in and having a bit of a dig.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a tester of the waters.
It's certainly a tester of the waters. Yeah, it's a step. It's an important step on the way to high performance there.
Second place, and I'm just trying to see the Newcastle Rowing Club crew of Miles and Riley. They don't appear to have made the race. I'm not sure why.
What do we have here? This is
men's degrade double scull Division 3.
Very hard to call at this point, but it looks like Sydney just has the edge. But Newcastle Grammar have been finishing so well today. Those coaches.
So the Newcastle Grammar crew of lane 3 failing to start in this one, not even a scratching.
Newcastle Grammar pulling up through the race,
but Newcastle Grammar really powering through there. Sydney had the early lead, and Grammar's trumped them in the second half of the race there. These Sydney fellas, I think, have had a big day.
Yeah.
They arrived a little bit late to the regatta this morning. It was a bit hectic.
Yeah.
But there's the young juniors coached by Paul Coates and Tim Hughes up there. Paul, great stalwart of the sport. His brother Phil on the commentary box earlier on today.
Yeah.
Paul really goes all out, and anyone who wants to have a go, if they speak to Paul, he'll give you a chance.
Absolutely. And you can just see now Ben Homer, who's a part of Bar TV, is about to have his race.
Oh, great. We've got to look at this then. Let's get some critique happening.
Can he live up to his name?
Oh, Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah.
Long-time supporters of Newcastle Rowing Club.
This race here is sponsored by Jasmine Fruit Balm.
Correct information on that last race. Race 133, Sydney won, took out that race. Benedict Brenner and Ewan Hart just
Definitely an interesting mix of crews in the in this coming race now, with Central Coast and Newcastle Grammar.
Congratulations to the Sydney rowing crew.
So Central Coast, a relatively new addition to the CDRA family.
They are.
Finishing power, Newcastle Grammar. Well done.
That's here we go. So it looks like a good start here from the Newcastle crew. In the middle there.
Okay, so Division 4.
So does that looks like Ben in the bow seat, is it?
Ben is in bow with Arjun Lewis stroking with the boat.
So I've not met Arjun. What's how's long has he been in the sport?
He's been him and Ben actually started around the same time. Arjun's he's got a hidden bit of power, as in he doesn't look like he was fairly small when he started, but he's obviously grown.
Good lightweight in that future somewhere.
Oh, he is.
I'll be wanting to take him under my wing.
Yeah, and they are absolutely powering through.
Aren't they? Wow, that's an impressive lead. Got best part of 3 lengths, maybe even 4 lengths.
Great stroking by Arjun Lewis. He set the rating real high, and it has paid off absolutely. But that is a great win.
So Ben's not only got the gift of the gab, it seems.
he's proven himself to all our listeners here today.
Take that. Get change out of that, says Arjun Lewis.
Yeah. There we go, focusing on them. Ben obviously looks like he's pretty happy. Yep, there's a smile from Ben.
There's a smile. He's happy. It's a happy win.
Okay, race 135.
Great race from them.
This race is sponsored by New South Wales Colour TV.
Coming up now to race 135 with the men's D-grade double scull Division 5. We've got another same amount of crews with Newcastle Grammar and Central Coast. Again, battling.
The retail experience, I think. Here comes the rain.
New South Wales Colour TV, the sponsors of this race, and great sponsor they've been for Newcastle Rowing Club over the years. I believe recent acquisition of a new television screen for training purposes. It's a great tool for the coach Stephen Townsend there to
absolutely.
use and get some good AV feedback.
There's nothing better than having video footage and being able to actually watch yourself row, because technique in this sport is really something that is absolutely imperative. And without a doubt, I think, just to go back to something that we were talking about earlier, but the wave cutters are absolutely amazing for getting that technique right.
They do take the edge off, and it's something that it's been lacking in the sport for a while. This has opened the door.
Yeah,
it really has opened the door.
Oh, absolutely.
For too long, my feelings of the sport is that it's been closed off. It's been a hard to access sport, and the equipment isn't necessarily everything, but this has made it quite obvious what can be done.
Absolutely.
And made it very accessible, and so I can't sing their praises high enough.
Yeah.
They really are a great product, and anyone who has the ability should try and get it.
Oh, absolutely. Newcastle Rowing Club there just taking up the title with Thomas Wilson and Harrison Bendel, who I understand are very good friends. So it's great for two mates to obviously be in the sport together and share a win.
Sometimes it does pay off not to be a friend of your crewmate. So
I can understand that, yes.
Sometimes it's better to hate your crewmate.
Yeah.
You only ever look at his back.
Oh, yeah. I found personally, because I'm quite good friends with Arjun, Ben, Evan and Jonathan, it is good to have a social aspect to rowing, because you hear a lot, and it's good to be able to train hard, but train hard with your mates.
Oh, absolutely. It's good competitive fun, and you're very lucky to have such a good sized squad here at Newcastle.
Oh, absolutely.
Back when I was training here as a junior, I was pretty much on my Wincy. Used to have Coach Dan Bishop would follow me down on his bike on the far side there, shouting out abuse or criticism. Sometimes both.
Yeah. Just giving Ben Homer a thumbs up there as he comes back, and Division 6, I believe, of the men's degrade double scud coming down the course now.
Yeah, there's the so we have Brisbane Water in lane 1, Sydney in lane 2, and Newcastle Grammar in lane 3. And geez, not much in at the moment from this view. We are on a bit of a funny angle.
Yeah.
But no, look at that, all three crews pretty tight.
Oh wow, yeah, this is going to be a tight race.
There's not even a length in that at the moment. Now I know young Christian Pezzo and the Sydney crew there, and Johnny Bill, they do have a bit of nous about them. They do like to get aggressive, but they're taking it a bit slow at the moment. The rate's down. You can see it's a superior stroke rate here of the Brisbane Water combined with the nice smooth rowing there. That's pulling them up, but it'll be Newcastle Grammar on the far side with just that little bit more tenacity. Gets them over just a few metres in front there. Not much in it though, that was a tight race.
Yeah, that was very tight. People seem to like hitting that buoy as well.
Yeah, I reckon. It's got a magnet on it.
Yeah. It's just, this is a fairly tight course as well. Because it is a sprint course, so, you know, you need to have a good place for a touchy run. And this is, Throsby Creek is, it's my home of rowing, and I know it's your grassroots of rowing, Hugh, so...
Oh, absolutely. This is where it all began.
Yeah.
Changed a bit, though.
I can
over
imagine.
the years.
Yeah.
And the first time I went out in the boat I was coxing my dad and my brother in an old tub pair the club used to have called the Edsel. And all these houses over the far side here were bullshit length in that at the moment. And we paddled up the creek and you couldn't even see the water. There was that much crap in it.
Oh my God.
Young stuff plating. Christian Pezzo and the Sydney crew there, and Johnny Bill. They do have a bit of nous about them. They do like to get aggressive, but they're taking it a bit slow at the moment. The rate's down. You can see it's a superior stroke rate here of
it's a battle between two crews with
combined with a nice smooth rowing there.
Shearer and Joseph Anderson in Newcastle, and Newcastle Grammar with Ryan Philpotts and Joe McGaffin.
Newcastle Grammar there, making a good effort over the line.
And you're done. That's the last of the 7 divisions.
Gavin and Sarah Ellis being a good influence over there at Grammar. Gavin and I used to race against each other all the time as juniors.
Oh wow.
And he was for a time a member here at Newcastle.
See what's coming up next.
He always used to have this funny little trick, Gavin. There used to be time trials that they'd conduct out at Berry Park. 5K, you start at Morpeth Bridge and finish at
I've done those. They are brutal.
And unlike the time trials you get at the Nepean, which are relatively straight, this one's got a nice big dog leg.
Oh, it's a huge bend.
And Gavin, they used to have it set up a camera on the last corner to get some video footage. And Gav had this funny little trick. Every year he'd do the same thing. He managed to straighten his hat mid-stroke.
Oh, wow.
He'd just take one hand off, straighten his hat,
keep
going without missing a beat.
Wow.
Every time he happened to do it always in front of the camera. He knew exactly where it was. He always had some good skills. Jeez, look at this. The little fella in the stroke seat here, the Newcastle Rowing Club double. About half the size.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the C grade.
Joe Anderson and Stephen Townsend. Stephen Townsend is the coach here at Newcastle Rowing Club, the junior squad, and finally proving that he's actually capable of rowing himself.
The boat captain there looks a bit like Ned Kelly at the moment.
He's got quite the beard going.
He's really putting himself in there, isn't it? That would have been a hard matchup.
Oh, absolutely.
Was a young Joseph Anderson there? Looks about half the size of him.
Yeah.
Steve is all arms and legs. He's tall.
Oh, he is. He's huge. And he's very dedicated as well, Stephen Townsend. Really treats every single rower fairly and equally, and really tries to make them push them to the absolute best. Which you know he's tried with me many, many times.
Race 139 is the next race. It's the men's C grade.
Now the race coming up in a few races' time here, the Championship Men's Cox 4. or coxless. I'm not sure what they're. So some are rowing cox, some are rowing coxless. This is going to be something to watch.
Oh, absolutely. We've got Sydney, Newcastle Uni and Newcastle Grammar in it.
The Sydney crew, they're Paul Coates, Phil Coates. It says here Simon Coates, but I think there's been a late scratching or a substitution with Curtis Aroney taking the place of Simon Coates, and Luke State, who rode the Open Scull earlier on today, with Cox, Benedict Brenner. Now, Paul and Phil have had quite a few goes at this regatta. That's one of their favourites. And they love the sprints, they really do. Paul works off the philosophy of being rested. He likes to go into a regatta being very rested. Absolutely. So he doesn't like to train too much in case it takes too much energy out of him.
Look, it is a good mentality. I've always thought that sudden, rapid training the night before or the day before a regatta isn't as good as just getting well rested and making sure you're in the right mindset for a regatta.
He is very good at the 12-ounce bicep curl, though.
Oh, wow.
He does lots of 12-ounce bicep curls. So the guns are out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see those guns a little bit later on. Just watching a couple of the other boats get ready to go down to the course at the moment.
So $10 worth.
It really is a great setup we got here. But never had video footage of a race like this. I'm really much enjoying it.
Yeah. And this is a first. This is a first, as far as I know. This is the first time there is a regatta being live streamed.
It has been attempted before, I think, but never to this level. Not in Australia, anyway.
Wow.
The Royal Henley Regatta this year went to a great extent. They had fantastic footage of their racing, and that is something to be admired. But this is another level again, and I think it's the first free live streaming that's been attempted in Australia. Anyway, there was some. I think they tried to do something a few years ago for the Nationals that it required that people register and pay, and it was a bit closed off. So, making it free and accessible. That is the way of it. And it's great to be able to do that this year today.
Absolutely, and I think it's opening up the sport as well to make it much more accessible. Because as you said earlier, rowing has been closed off to a lot of people, and only now we're starting to see the fact that it is opening right up and making sure that everyone can actually access it and enjoy it, because it is very, very enjoyable. Got a person down there, young person down there making a sandcastle on banks of Throsby Creek.
I think I saw her down there before. The parents are going to be quite happy later on getting her in the car. She's covered. Just putting a few obstacles there for the tide comes back up.
Well, when I hit that. Oh, there we go. She's ready to. Oh no, it's still there. And the tide has dropped quite a bit actually.
Before where these flags are on screen at the moment, the water was lapping right up to the bottom of where the flag starts on the flagpole there. So you can see it's dropped quite a bit now.
Yeah, it has.
But as we start this race now, which is the men's C grade double scull Division 2. Down the page, Lake Macquarie Lane 1, Brisbane Water Lane 2, Endeavour Lane 3. And out of the blocks, looks as though Brisbane Water's got it. Early days yet. Brisbane Water, Bradley Potterton and Sean Ryan.
Definitely looked like they're pushing ahead.
Lake Macquarie hot on their heels here on lane 1, with Endeavour over the other side there, still doing a good go, but again, superior stroke rate here.
Absolutely, stroke rate is so imperative, especially towards these sprint races.
No time to muck about, and I didn't have the stroke coach on me in the wave cutter race earlier today, but when I've raced here in the past in the Open Scull, it's never had a stroke under 40 strokes a minute.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, come out of the start at 44 and you might just settle into 42.
Whereas in a 2,000 metre long race, you'd probably be doing most of the middle at around about 20:18.
Oh, for me, a good stroke rate for me in the middle of a 2K race is around about the 30-32 mark.
Oh, that just shows how better you are than me.
That's when I've been at my best, you know. And you look at the world champs and the Olympics, you watch someone like Mahi Drysdale, he'll come thumping down the course at 36.
Wow, and that is absolutely incredible. That is such a high stroke rate.
And he's got a gear and spare to pop it up in the last 250.
Oh. And Ben Homer is also back with us now after having raced and won. So congratulations to him. So he'll be replacing me. So I'll be back later on. Pass it over to Ben now.
Thanks, Lachlan, for your commentary. And Ben, welcome back to the commentary box.
I'm back. Yeah, I just had to go for a little row, and it was a nice one too.
That was a pretty convincing win there, Ben. So how did it feel?
Well, that was actually my first win of the season. I've been.
Oh, great.
We most of the guys my age have been doing the HSC, so I've been rowing a lot of singles and not too many doubles and quads. So good to have Arjun back.
You've got your priorities straight, focusing on your rowing
and
your
right.
studies. That's
We'll see. We'll see what happens when I get my marks back.
I'm sure that'll pay off for you.
But yes, it felt very, very nice. It was good to be back in the boat with Arjun. It's always great to row with him. I normally
he looked pretty happy at the end there.
Yes,
having a bit of a celebration.
we were very happy. Who was in it? Was it you and Lachlan in here?
Yeah, me and Lachlan were very much enjoying the show.
Well, I've got some news about the Throsby gift.
Oh yes, go ahead.
There's nothing changed. They're still deciding what's happening.
Wow.
So Bar TV could be going late this afternoon for the presentation, Jack. What are you thinking?
We'll be here till it's over.
That's good news.
We've got the Championship Men's 4 coming down the course now. Cox 4. I'm very excited to watch this one. Down the page on this side, it's in lane 1, Sydney Rowing Club, my current club. In lane 2 in the middle there, Newcastle University, and in lane 3 over the far side, it's Newcastle Grammar. Now, the Sydney crew, Paul Coates, Phil Coates, it's Curtis Aroni taking the place of Simon Coates, so the brothers 3 not quite, and Luke State. Paul and Curtis, absolute dynamos in the short distance, and they'll be cranking the rate up. Statey, well, he likes a bit of a smoother stroke, so he's going to be being pushed along here a little bit. And Phil, he just likes to swing along and do whatever. But great race going on at the moment here. You can see Sydney is just in front at the moment over Newcastle Grammar, maybe half a length and a good length and a half clear of Newcastle University there. Curtis Aroni in the stroke seat there, really cranking it. Luke State in 3, looking nice and clean. And Paul and Phil just hacking away.
Gee, they're looking good, aren't they, at the back, Sydney, as they come over the finishing line.
Brilliant.
They get the job over Grammar.
There we go.
They're pumped up. They're pumped up. We might have a look at the close-up. There we go. Look at that.
The big celebrations going on here. There'll be parties tonight.
There'll be... That's a Sunday night. That's the only problem, isn't it?
Well, won't stop them.
Newcastle Grammar on the far side, Newcastle Uni in the middle, coming in third. But next race, well, that was sponsored by Simpson Shoes Lambton, and I actually used to get my school shoes from there. They do a fantastic job. Craig and the team there, he does a great job. And the next race up is the Championship Women's Masters Single Scull, sponsored by GPA Matrix. GPA Matrix do a great job of sponsoring all their races, so it's great to have them helping out again this year. On the near side, it's Tess Fearon with the 2 above her, and with the 3 above her, it is Trisha Bullich from Port Macquarie. So this will be an interesting race. Both got through earlier in the piece, so we'll see who does get the job done. John McLoud's here, Hugh's dad. John, what's the latest on the gift?
I haven't got anything to tell you. It hasn't been decided yet. It'll be the meeting of the jury after the end of the regatta.
What do you think? So they're going to have a meeting of the jury, and there's going to be no re-row. It's just going to be decided then and there.
Oh, it'll be a decision of the jury. It won't be a re-row.
Okie doke. So there we go. There won't be a re-row. That's confirmed. So,
ooh,
gee,
controversy here. Now here we go. The race is underway, and
oh gee, one of them
every which way.
Have a look at that. So
that's not a great course.
Tess Fearon is flown out in front. Trisha Bullich looks like she's out of it by now. Gee, that start, she went a right angle.
Oh yeah, so just forgetting which way to go there in the first couple of strokes. But getting back into a line now.
Well, that's
going to be a tough thing to make up there. The Port Macquarie sculler there.
We can see the gap. Tess Fearon's got a massive gap now. She comes into shot there. You can't even. Well, you just got Trisha Bullich just on the far end of far right hand edge of the screen. Tess Fearon's gone out of it. That's how big the gap is. She comes into the last 150 metres now, the boys, and it's going to be
Well, the race ain't over yet. She's still got to stay in the boat for the next 100 metres.
That's right. And it's easier said than done today, isn't it?
Easier said than done today, especially when you're going for it in a sprint.
Well, here is Tess Fearon now inside the last 100 metres. Now, Trisha Bullich is definitely making a race of it. She's putting in some powerful strokes. Not the fastest stroke rate. Tess Fearon definitely going quicker up and down the slide, but Trisha Bullich is putting in some powerful strokes. But I think Tess Fearon may have just turned off the gas a little bit.
Certainly putting in the power, but just holding it too long around the back there. Hasn't quite got the speed around the back turn that you see over the fast side there. Tess, what was her name then?
Tess Fearon.
Tess Fearon. Just got a nice quick movement out the back, keeps the boat moving a bit more.
Well, there she goes, Tess Fearon, there she is. Still rowing over the finishing line, and fantastic job from her. And that's not a bad one to add to your resume. The A final of the Championship Women's Masters Single Scull, a very good row there from Tess.
Excellent row indeed. Not an easy race, that one.
So if you've still wondering, that Throsby gift John just here a moment ago, still the decision will be made at the end later on today. We'll still double check if we can get the presentation of the Throsby gift, but dramatic stuff here at Throsby Creek. And Lachlan, who is helping us out with commentary today as well, says it's the most dramatic he's ever seen. You were here before. Lachlan started in 2012. Before when you were here at the start, when the Throsby gift started in 2002, have you seen any as controversial as this one?
Oh, racking my memory here to remember. When there's money on offer, it's always a bit of desperation. I think in the first few years, Newcastle won it, I think 3 years in a row, maybe even 4. Can't quite remember off the top of my head, but after the first couple of years, people were asking, does this $500 really exist?
Well, it was Newcastle Rowing Club the first 2 years, then it was Hunter Rowing Club a couple in a row.
Yeah.
So
Hunter now, Lake Macquarie Rowing Club.
Yes.
Formerly Hunter.
And then Newcastle Uni. Well, Newcastle Uni have actually won 5 of the last 7. 5 of the last 7 Throsby gifts. Newcastle Grammar won a couple in 07 and 08. We'll just go to the race that is taking place, which is Sue Brown from Newcastle and Jill Castrom from Endeavour. And it's a row over, actually, so we don't need to look at that one too closely. Sue Brown not in the race, and Jill Castrom will get a good win. But yeah, those early races, Newcastle Uni, as I said, long time between drinks for Newcastle Grammar. Their last win 08, so they really want to win.
Oh, I bet they do. There's a lot at stake here.
What do you think? What are you honestly thinking the decision will be? Do you think they'll go with, because Grammar won the race and Uni are saying they got in their path. They've got a sheet a mile long in there. I didn't read through it because I'm not an official, but I did see there was a lot of riding there from Newcastle Uni, and they were not happy about it.
No. Well, not having seen that myself, I'm not really sure the details of the protest. It may have been that from their perspective, one of the Newcastle Grammar may have jumped the start from the perspective of Newcastle University. Maybe not. Maybe the flag was held a bit longer a bit too long for them. And so, like I said, I really, it's all pure speculation at the moment for myself, not knowing the details of the protest.
Well, that's the thing, it's the flag as well, because it's all about dropping the flag and getting that all right.
I remember one year there was confusion because we had 3 crews, the 3 crews were separated quite a way. There was one crew right out in front, and when they were approaching the finish line, all 3 flags went up, and that got all 3 flags up at the start line, which made everybody on edge because they're, oh crap, we're all about to go. But then one crew went, and then they were just sat there ready to go, and they were waiting, and then go. So I think there's been a change since then of, right, when you raise the flag at this end to signal to the start line that you're ready. We made it quite clear that, right, you only raise the flag a couple of strokes before they cross the line, rather than having all 3 up at once if there's 100 metres difference. And that was a point of controversy one year. I forget what year that was. That's a long time ago now. But, I think we've got some pretty well-trained semaphore operators these days.
Yeah, that's right. So, another dramatic one today. We've got a bit of a gap between races. Our next championship event is at 2:30. That's the women's double scull. So we're going to have a look at the wave cutter. Just a little quick glance at the wave cutter. It's great to have here at Newcastle Rowing Club. And this is quite funny because we got our producer who's sitting next to me, Jack. We got him to get in a wave cutter, and it shows you how stable they are because he could stand up in one.
Oh, cracker.
Rowing is now so much more easily accessible to those who have never touched an oar or stood in a boat before. And this is due to the new wave cutters here at Newcastle Rowing Club. So right now we're going to have a look at the major differences between this wave cutter and a regular rowing boat before the inaugural Wave Cutter Invitational sponsored by Shaw Gidley here at Newcastle Rowing Club. So the major difference, normal rowing boats made out of carbon fibre. This one here is made out of plastic, pretty much what a kayak's made out of. The aluminium riggers, pretty similar to what you would get in every other rowing craft. The major difference for me in terms of the wave cutter compared to the regular rowing boat is the width of the base. 65 centimetres in a wave cutter. Regular rowing boat's a lot more narrow and a lot less stable, which makes it a lot harder for rookies who are just starting rowing. Going out, much more unstable. You see plenty of them falling out. Whereas this one, it's almost impossible to fall out of a wave cutter unless you really try to. And you can stand up in one, which we're just going to see. I did it a few minutes ago. Stood up in a wave cutter, and we'll have a look how that all went. So there you go. It just shows you how stable the wave cutter is. Another thing that'll show you how stable it is our producer as well. Never rowed before. If he can stand up in a wave cutter, then anyone can row a wave cutter, and it just shows how stable it is. So we might have a look at how he goes right now. Yep, stand up. So a bit of fun there. It's now back live. We're going to have a look at the inaugural Wave Cutter Invitational, sponsored by Shaw Gidley here at Newcastle Rowing Club. I can't wait.
That was brilliant.
Great, yeah, it was great to see Jack have a go at that.
Got it. One day, your next step from there, Jack, is to take an oar out and spin it above your head. We call it a helicopter.
Now, Hugh, what are you up to these days with work?
Well, I've set up in Five Dock in a little workshop with a friend of mine, Stuart Johnson, formerly of Johnson Racing. He sold out that business about 10 years ago, or 12 years ago now, and we're now he started up a new business in Five Dock called CNC Composites, primarily doing boat repairs, but he also makes a lot of componentry. So just anything you need. We have a board up here at the Regatta at the moment showing all our components that we make, from seats and fins and slide underlays and all sorts of things like that. But now we're moving into boat building as well, and we've recently built a couple of fours, sent them down to Victoria, and we're hoping to do a big product launch at the beginning of next year with range of single sculls, and really quite looking forward to taking them to the Tari Regatta and showcasing what we can do. All Australian made. There'll be one of the few Australian made boat builders left getting around.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. And CNC Composites have done a lot for Newcastle Rowing in terms of sponsoring the regatta today.
Yeah, a nice little donation today, and actually there's some of our work is on display in the Newcastle Rowing Club shed, a few boats that we've refurbished and re-outfitted, and quite a few of our bits and pieces getting around these days. We actually make the seats for the wave cutter.
Oh, that's fantastic. So all those seats are from CNC Composites?
All those seats come from CNC Composites, yeah. Nice little on the side. So formed a nice little alliance there with Al Phillips, the race one. But we actually had plans to build a training scull in the much like the wave cutter, and we're very close to starting to build one, and then we saw the wave cutter for the first time and thought, we just can't do better than this. You just can't improve on perfection, you know.
Yeah.
So, quite happy to let him go and just support that one. But let's get back to the racing. We've got something coming down now. We have what is it?
We've got Newcastle over on the far side of the course, so this race here should be the women's D-grade quad scull. It is the women's D-grade quad scull. We'll just check which Newcastle crew it is out there. Looks like it's Penrith in this race. So it is. It's actually the C-grade quad scull, the women's C-grade quad scull. Newcastle Grammar, Newcastle, and Penrith in that event. Just double check that for you.
And Newcastle Rowing Club have the advantage at the moment. They've got about 2 boat lengths.
Looks like there may have been a little bit of a change. Newcastle Rowing Club in lane 3 for this event. Maybe there's been a scratching.
Pushing their way through.
They've sent another crew out because that one is totally different to the crew that is written down. So it's Penrith.
Ah, no, here we are.
There it is there.
Yeah, it is the women's D grade. It's Newcastle Grammar in lane 1, Penrith in lane 2, and Newcastle in lane 3. Rani Lewis, Gemma Harbison, Greer Fearon, and Coco Fearon.
Well, it's a good win for them there. Really nice win for Newcastle. They crossed the finishing line. Penrith will come through in second, and then Newcastle Grammar. Looks like there's been an issue there. Oars getting stuck, and they will cross the finishing line in third place. So we're running about 7 minutes behind in the races in terms of the races this afternoon. So it'll be Division 2 up next. Newcastle are back in it with Newcastle Grammar and Endeavour. So this will be an interesting contest. The Newcastle girls are all new to rowing this year, so we'll like to see how they go in that race. Not these girls that are on screen, the next race that are coming. Those girls have probably been around for a year, so good to see them getting the win there.
Certainly a risk in these sprint races to lose an oar. Moving really quick, you can lose grip, and I've seen it happen a couple of times today. Actually, Newcastle Grammar seems to have suffered a few little mishaps like that, and a couple of other breakages, I think, from other clubs too. Maybe Endeavour, I think, snapped an oar earlier on today.
Well, it's one of the worst feelings, isn't it? Especially when you're in front in a race. If you snap an oar, gee, there's no worse feeling, especially if you're in a quad, you're letting 3 other people down.
Well, that's when you toss the other one and jump out.
Well, here's Newcastle, Endeavour, and Newcastle Grammar coming down the course. And you can probably
pandemonium on the finish line.
You can probably hear in the loudspeaker in the background. We've almost had a collision. I don't think it was as close as what it did seem. There was some funny stuff. But look at this. You could throw a blanket over this field.
Back to the race on the course here.
Wow.
Not much in it all. Maybe half a length at the moment.
I think there's a lot of young girls in the Grammar crew and the Newcastle crew. The Endeavour ladies a bit more experienced. And here is Newcastle Grammar on this near side. Look like they could be pulling away, but Endeavour, gee, they just aren't pulling away, Newcastle Grammar. Endeavour are just sitting there. Newcastle Rowing Club are just out of it, but Newcastle Grammar now getting the lead and pulling away.
And not only that, but they're the only crew out there carrying a coxswain.
Yes, they are, so they're doing even better. They've got a bit more weight behind it. Newcastle
Everyone collect your medals. We have about a dozen races left for today. This is Division 2 Women's D-grade quad scull with Newcastle Grammar in lane 1. Lane 2 has Newcastle 3 and lane 2 Newcastle, lane 3 Port Macquarie. Like Port Macquarie possibly could be ahead. Bit hard to call from here at the moment. This race is sponsored by Auto Advantage, who are sponsoring several races today, including this race and the next four. So back to the racing. Newcastle Grammar is putting on a bit of a fight here. Looks like they may be able to catch them. They're picking up their rating. The custom is yelling, and Port Macquarie may just hold them off. There's lots of cheering here from the bank. They may get them, but it looks like Port Macquarie has taken that one, closely followed by Newcastle Grammar. A very good fight for the finish there. And Newcastle takes out third place. Auto Advantage is sponsoring the next race. They're a car buying service, so they save you time, money and stress when buying a car. All makes and models, new and used.
Switches are now going down the line.
Thank you, Auto Advantage.
Oh, one of these.
Right. You'll have to.
We're with pitches, so you're right to talk.
We're still live. Well, hello and welcome back. A bit of drama there. We've had a day full of drama, Hugh. Just lost a bit of power, and we're back. So sorry about that. Someone's knocked over the power lead and or split it in half.
Yeah, well, prone to happen, and on these sorts of big outdoor things here, we don't exactly have a sealed-in professional commentary box where
like you'd have at Cirque.
Nothing like that. I mean, no, I'd say we're better than that.
Yeah. No, well, we're going to have a change to the commentary box. Hugh, you're going to be back a bit later
That's
for the to send us out. So we're looking forward to that. And Lachlan's going to come in and have a chat for a bit. So we'll see you. See you in about. I'm thinking coming at 10 to 3 because we're running a bit behind. So.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Ben, and
thank you, Hugh. Thanks for all your help today. We'll see you in about 20 minutes or so.
Central Coast looks like they're going to take out this one. Although Newcastle's putting a bit of a push on at the end, just a little bit too late.
Well, Lachlan, you're back.
I am back, yes.
Well done to Central
What a
Coast.
dramatic day we've had.
Oh.
I think I've used that word too many times, but I think that's an understatement, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and we got our picture back as well.
So the race that we are up to, we're running about 7 minutes behind. This race was Newcastle Rowing Club in lane 1, so it means we're up to race 147. So the next race is the Women's C Grade Quad Scull, Division 1, starting up, and that one's sponsored by Auto Advantage. So that will be coming up next.
Of which there are 2 divisions. These are sponsored by Auto Advantage.
Everything's all good?
Yep, everything's back. So sorry about that power failure, but as I said, someone just stepped on the cord, split it in half, and
oh no,
gone for a little bit, but we're back now. So
it's all right.
Great to have your company, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching when we get back, when they get back home from the rowing this afternoon.
Yeah.
So. But here we go. Here's the next race on the course. It's Penrith, Newcastle and Newcastle Grammar. Women's C Grade Quad Scull. Penrith and Newcastle Grammar both very, very, very tight. Newcastle Rowing Club are out of it by this point, but it's Newcastle Grammar who have the lead over Penrith as we come into the last 70 metres or so. Newcastle Grammar putting in the power now in this quad. So the quad Scull with each rower with 2 oars each.
Oh, they've almost got a length on them.
Yeah, flying away now. Newcastle Grammar over Penrith. Just for the viewers, so Quad Scull, each rower has 2 oars each, and the 4, each rower has just a 1 oar each. And same thing with the doubles. Each rower has 2 oars, and the pairs, each rower has 1 oar. So a bit of rowing terminology that when I first started, I was like, for quad, you never knew at the Olympics. You're like, what is the difference? But that is the difference. Quite simple, actually.
It is. It's very straightforward. And since we've been doing it for a couple of years, we've definitely adjusted to all the terminology that you got to know within the sport.
That's right. Well, next up is the women's C-grade Quad Scull Division 2. Auto Advantage are splashing some cash again for this one.
Oh, they are.
And
4 races in a row. Wow.
Yeah, they are throwing that. Well, I wonder if Tommy D's guitar tutoring got a plug. I don't think, because we're in the package, but Tommy D's guitar tutoring. What is his little slogan here? One-on-one guitar lessons for beginners by the lead guitarist from the band, Big Chief and the Bottle Openers. That is one of the best band names I've heard, I think.
It's certainly a mouthful.
Big Chief and the Bottle Openers.
And he's contributed $100, which is great.
Well, when they become world famous,
we can say that we
started.
Bar TV discovered them first.
Well, here we go. The next race, it's Newcastle Uni and Penrith. There's been a lot going on with Newcastle Uni today. Penrith not so. Good to see them up here, but Newcastle Uni and Newcastle Grammar.
Just controversy on every single corner.
Well, the call was that we should disqualify them both and Newcastle Rowing Club win.
Oh.
That was what we were saying.
I think as 2 Newcastle members, the bias is just a little bit apparent, but you know, I personally wouldn't be too mad if Newcastle Rowing Club managed to take out the title.
It would be a bit dodgy us taking the 500 back, but as here's Penrith over Newcastle Uni. Looks like things aren't going to get too much better for Newcastle Uni. They're
looking a bit tight there. Newcastle Uni might actually be in the transit lane.
Yeah, well, there is a bit Newcastle Rowing Club. They're going to come very close to cleaning them up.
Oh, yeah.
That wind really blowing across the course, and it's going to be Penrith who are powering away now. Penrith Rowing Club as they come up to the line. A really good row. It's been great to see them here today, Penrith.
Oh, it has been.
And here they go over the finishing line, and Newcastle Uni coming through in 2nd place. But here we go. This is the big one. The big couple of races coming.
Championship Women's Double Scull.
GPA Matrix are throwing the checkbook towards this one. They're sponsoring it, so great to have them on board.
Actually sponsoring 3 races in total, which is great.
GPA doing a fantastic job this year for Newcastle. And Brisbane Water and Newcastle Grammar in this one. There's the Newcastle Uni crew and Penrith there. Probably having a little chat.
Oh, absolutely.
Congratulations. Well done.
As you do at the end of every race, you always make sure that you are.
Very friendly sport rowing.
3 cheers for the other crews is often what you'll hear down at the beyond the finishing line, as everyone gives it all, and everyone deserves the recognition at the end.
Well, here we go. Here is this next. Well, we might be having a look at. This is live pictures. Yep, live pictures here. And it's Brisbane Water and Newcastle Grammar, and it's very, very close. 200 metres into it. Here they come. So Brisbane Water on this near side. Newcastle Grammar on the far side. They both got through their races earlier today in first spot. And it's Brisbane Water, a small rowing club from the Central Coast. And they're pulling away now from Newcastle Grammar.
Surging ahead, at least almost a boat length. I'd say probably a boat length now.
And they look towards the finishing line. They've got, boat length and a bit now.
Oh, wow.
Really powering over the last 50 metres. Grammar are fading. And it is Brisbane Water who claim the victory in the Championship Women's Double Scull. So well done to them. Really good row from both of them, Lachlan.
Oh, absolutely. And just on them now, looking pretty tired.
As you would. 400 metres of fun.
You can tell everybody just how tired you were, Ben.
When you win, you feel a lot less tired than if you don't win. I'll give you that much.
We did actually have a couple of shots on you. You and Arjun having a nice little converse at the end of your race.
I was actually thinking that I better not do anything dodgy, then not pick my nose or something. It'll be everywhere. Newcastle might pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
Championship Men's Masters Single Scull is next up. Now, that's underway now, but just quickly, we did get some media coverage at Newcastle Rowing Club last year. in January for a 24-hour erg we did.
We did do that, yeah.
Newcastle Herald got a hold of that, and it was great great coverage. We got heaps of sponsorship. Is that happening again next year? This year? Next year. It is next year.
Look, it is in the pipeline. At the moment, I don't think we will be doing it in January like we did this year, but we're looking more towards the middle of the year, sort of April to August.
In winter?
Winter. So we won't have to have fans. So
yep.
I think you remember we had to have fans.
Yes, it was quite hot.
Yeah, that was brutal, but we did it for a really good cause there with Beyond Blue.
It was fantastic, really was.
Shout out to Port Waratah Coal Services, who gave us a significant amount of money. They donated, was it $2,000? I think?
Yes,
$2,000 just off the fly. Just came in one day, said here's a check for $2,000, and we were stoked. So yeah, really great thing, very grueling, but obviously we'll keep everybody posted with that.
Well, here's Murray Dowse now, flying down the middle of the course, rowing very well.
Looking very fresh after his wave cutter event, don't you reckon, Ben?
Oh yeah, Murray, he's rowed beautifully today, Murray Dowse.
Absolutely.
And it's Ray Harwood from Port Macquarie who's had to go up against him. That's a really tough contest against Murray Dowse, former Australian athlete, Australian representative, so there's a very nice win there. He looks like he's just
cruising through.
Yeah, cooling the guns as they come through the last over the finishing line.
Very slow rating that he's finishing with as well there, which you don't often find in a sprint event. Often sprint events rating is over 40, which for rowing terminology means that is fairly high, which is great. But no, great win there for Murray Dowse.
We're coming now to the back end of the day now, almost on to the last few races. The next one is the Championship Men's Masters Single Scull. Bruce Sharp from Lake Macquarie and Mark Nelson from Endeavour doing battle in this next race, which will be starting, there it is, underway. Lake Macquarie on the near side, Endeavour on the far side. Lake Macquarie with the blue and green and yellow. And then
looking
Mark
a bit choppy
Nelson
there with all the water, don't you reckon, Ben?
Yes, well, I remember last year it was very windy at the back end of the day.
Oh, it was. Wind really picked up.
And yeah, this year it's not looking as bad, but it's still getting pretty windy.
Yeah.
As here they come. So Lake Macquarie's Bruce Sharp looks to be the strongest as they come into the last 200 metres now.
Good rating there, good solid strokes from him.
As we know, both this one's sponsored by the Port of Newcastle, and both of these have come through. First place in their heat. So here we go. It's the B final, I should say, of the Championship Men's Masters Single Scull. The A final just a moment ago with Murray Dowse. And here comes Bruce Sharp into the last 50 metres. He's looked very nice. Sky nice and blue behind him.
Absolutely.
A few clouds and
beautiful rowing.
The clouds just clearing away, and here he comes up towards the finishing line. Lake Macquarie with another victory today. Good to see them here again at Newcastle Rowing Club. And now it's Endeavour crossing the finishing line with Mark Nelson. And they go through in the B final of the Championship Men's Masters Single Scull. It'll be the Championship Men's Masters Single Scull C final up next. And then we've got some D-grade quads, which was last year. There was everything was happening in the D-grade quads.
Yeah, we had a number of issues, I remember, with those.
We'll see if we can get a shot of that dog on the other side. There's a dog just in the water over there. We'll have a look if we can do a close-up on having a little swim in the water.
You know what I'm curious about, Ben? Because we row here very often, and we very often see pelicans around.
Yes, the pelicans today haven't been as evident as what they normally are.
I think we might have scared them off.
Yeah, too many people around there running scared.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, here we go. It's the Men's Masters Single Scull C final. Brisbane Waters, Sean Ryan on the near side. Yep, he's out there. Michael Gutschow from Newcastle, he's out there, and Sean Donza from Endeavour. They both went off go, so we'll see if Newcastle can get another win. But it's Sean Donza that is going very quickly. He's got a fast rating.
Absolutely.
Really nice stuff there from Sean Donza. Michael Gutschow back in third spot, and Brisbane Waters, Sean Ryan way off the course on this near side.
He is very off the course. He's well into the transit lane, but he is definitely pushing through.
He's trying to fight back, but Sean Donza should have enough to hold on. Geez, putting in the power, Sean Ryan.
Oh, God.
Can he claim a big upset here, Sean? Can he get over the finishing line first? This is going to be almightily close. Sean Donza and Sean Ryan. I think Sean Donza, maybe just.
Yeah, so do I, actually.
Maybe just Sean Donza, who's looking up to the sky as if... Well, it was Endeavour, yep, confirmed there. So
very close race, though. Wow, great lift.
Really nice race.
Brisbane Water there.
And Michael Gutshow from Newcastle in third spot. So here we go, Lachlan, the men's D-grade quad scull. And D-grade, as we've said today, is for the beginner rowers. And you get all sorts of stuff happening when you've got a D-grade quad out there. And this one's sponsored by Total Engraving. Great to see them sponsoring the regatta today.
Oh, absolutely.
And just the one race for them, so great to have them on board. And then the rest of the D-grade quad scull sponsored by Jan's Driving School, Colourworks Australia, and then we've got Lingard Private Hospital for the last race of the day, the Championship Men's Double Scull this afternoon, before we wrap up and find out if we do or if we can do the presentation
of the gift.
We've been waiting for it forever.
Oh, we have, but very controversial. I'd say it's probably the most controversial result.
Hugh did say there was one back in the day, 03, 04, something around there, about the dropping of the flags. So about the flags, yes, about people confused about flags. So we will wait and see what their decision is.
We absolutely will.
And the D-grade quad scull, just checking, they have got underway. In lane 1 on the near side, it's Brisbane Water. Newcastle Grammar in lane 2 and 3. And looks pretty even over the opening stages of the race, as you can see those lanes above very close to touching now that the tide has come up. Grammar and Grammar on that far side. Brisbane Water looking in the race, but it's always hard to tell when you've got this angle because you don't quite know who's in front. But from this point of view, it looks as though the middle of the course with Newcastle Grammar in that boat is Isaac Duncan Daly, Ashley Sewell, Jackson Bowden and Alexander Rose coming through the middle of the course as they come over the halfway line. On this near side, I think Brisbane Water, they're getting away now easily. Ahead. They were sort of back level, and Brisbane Water have opened up a massive lead.
Wow.
Bradley Potterton, Kieran Lawson, Martin Parsons and John Jones in the boat as they are really powering it through. This is beautiful rowing to watch from Brisbane Water. So smooth and so strong. And they've had a good day today, Brisbane Water. They've got a few wins up. Small club.
Great day.
50 metres to go now for Brisbane Water. Very nice rowing over the back half of the race. And they come up to the finishing line. They get first spot. Great rowing, Brisbane Water. Newcastle Grammar, second and third. They will come in second and third. It's the lane 2 crew from Newcastle Grammar in.
We've just got a little bit of a problem.
Oh, gee, there you go. I told you, Lachlan. There it is, the D-grade quad scull. Anything can happen. We get snap doors. You get the wind blowing late in the day. They are going to finish the lane 3 Newcastle Grammar crew, which is Ned Fagan, Ewan McGaffin, Henry Knights, and Joel Owers.
You do find, particularly Newcastle Grammar School, often put a lot of their younger students into these sort of races.
And all things can happen. Well, actually, 2 of those boys, or Henry Knights, he plays tennis, or whether he still does or whether he used to. He definitely used to. I used to coach him at Topspin Tennis at Newcastle, so there's a lot of kids that I used to coach tennis that went to Grammar that now have started rowing. So it's sort of a transition. They start with tennis, and then they'll go into rowing. Happens a lot.
I'd probably say that for Newcastle Grammar, rowing is their flagship sport.
Yep, 100% right. Yep.
They're at every regatta. They're probably the biggest club at every regatta.
Well, here they are again, Newcastle Grammar, and it looks to be. No, there isn't a scratching. They're just very, very far behind in lane 1, Newcastle Grammar. But Sydney and Newcastle Grammar.
This.
Here we go. 150 metres to go. Sydney are really putting in the power. You can see water spraying up. They are putting in a lot of power. Newcastle Grammar. This is a very quick D-grade.
This is
D-grade quad.
You can just watch. You can just see the way that their bodies are moving, that they are absolutely hurting right now, and they are putting everything that they possibly can into this last 25 metres.
Well, here's Sydney. They're going to come over the finishing line. It is angled. Sydney Rowing Club, I'm saying, have got that one from Newcastle Grammar.
I'd say that as well, Ben.
And it doesn't stop there. Newcastle Grammar have got 2 in the next race. And then they've got 2 in the race after that as well. So that crew from Sydney, Benedict Brenner, Ewan Hart, John Bivell and Christian Pezzo. coached by Paul Coates and Luke State. Paul was in the crew from Sydney that won earlier this afternoon.
Oh, it was a great race.
And here is Newcastle Grammar again. I feel like I'm saying it every time. And it's Newcastle Rowing Club. Here we go. This is the they're in year 10, so it's about 16, 17. This crew, they've been around for a couple of years, the Newcastle crew, so they're going to go up against Grammar, I'm sure.
Can they prove themselves?
Yeah, they have these battles all the time. This is going to be very close if Newcastle Rowing Club can keep up with Grammar. So Newcastle and Grammar very, very tight. There is another Newcastle Grammar crew in it, but I think they are, yes, they're a long way behind. Newcastle Rowing Club, this is great rowing. They're pulling away. They've really turned it up in the last 100 metres.
Striking there from Joe Anderson, who's lifting it up as far as he possibly can.
Miles Downing-Donnelly in the bow seat, and then Riley Fowler in 2. Tom Wilson in 3. They are rowing beautifully, Newcastle.
This is great. This is really good.
They come into the last 50 metres. Fatiguing, you can just see it there from Newcastle. They're fatiguing, but they're going to pull over the line.
They're going to push it right through.
Great rowing from Newcastle. They get the victory. It was close early on. Newcastle Grammar come through in second place. There you go. Tom Wilson, Miles Downing-Donnelly, Joe Anderson and Riley Fowler get the win in the D-grade quad scull for men. Division 3, that one. And Newcastle Grammar, it was Newcastle Grammar from lane 3. Ned Turner, James Carraro, Riley Rothwell and Alex Furch came through in second. And then in third place, Dom Leishman, Nick Boyd, Nick Lillyman and Matt McDougall, who are coming through now in the race. But we're going over to the next race. Starts so quickly here. Port Macquarie in the middle. On the each side, it's another Newcastle Grammar sandwich. Newcastle Grammar on the far side and on the near side. So Port Macquarie, it's always hard to tell on this near side just how far they are or just how close they are. They do look a decent way behind that Newcastle Grammar crew.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Grammar and Port Macquarie. But we saw this in the last race here. Port Macquarie, it was Newcastle and Grammar, and they looked very close. But I think Port Macquarie might be ahead here. I thought someone slowed up there from Grammar. I didn't see, was there a slight crab or something?
Oh, there might have been.
Here we go. So they're coming through. Port Macquarie definitely with the lead, but can Grammar pull it back here? So it's Jeffrey Kempnich, Gary Bywater, Alan McCartney and Michael Watts in the boat for Port Macquarie, and they are going very, very well. Fortunately for Grammar, they're not going to get the job done, but good experience for these younger crews.
Absolutely, and that is really what these races are about, especially for those D-grade crews, is to get the experience, the feel of racing.
Well, great rowing here from Port Macquarie into the last 50 metres. Beautiful stuff from the 4 men out there in the D-grade quad scull. These ones sponsored by Jan's Driving School. And here they come. Crossing the finishing line is Port Macquarie in first. It's Grammar, Newcastle Grammar 4 in second, and it'll be Newcastle Grammar 6 in coming through in third. So those Newcastle Grammar in second spot. It was Oscar Jeffrey, Jaden Routley, Liam Wilson, and Kyle Riley. And then the third place side, Nicholas Young, Desmond Dolan, Will Carraro, and Ethan Sidorovsky. Hopefully I've got that right. And now we're into the last couple of races of the day, Lachlan.
We are indeed.
Men's C-grade quad scull, sponsored by Colourworks Australia. So quickly these races, and all of a sudden we're all done. So Remy Keats, Darcy Gay, Zach Shara, and Stephen Townsend, the coach for Newcastle. And they are a long way behind. Gee, I didn't think that would be the case. And it's 2 Endeavour crews. So this is going to be a bit of a battle between the 2 Endeavour sides out there. The crews, look at that wake. There's a massive wake from the boat that's just gone through. This is going to be very close.
Wow.
Lane 2 and lane 3 from Endeavour. Newcastle are gone. They're out of it. It's maybe getting to the back half of the boat. That's the lead. But lane 3 are fighting back. Lane 3, boats are bouncing. It's coming up. It's very close. Both boats are close to each other. It's Endeavour from lane 2 that I think may have just got it. Can lane 3 get back? Lane 2, Isaac Shepherd I heard, so that's in lane 2. Carter Ward, Rob Wetherell and Brendan Budworth, probably the favourites in that one. And they beat Aidan Shepherd, Ethan Oakley, Jack Davey and Prentice Bond. So they were pretty even. They were very even crews there from Endeavour.
Yeah, that was definitely an even spread of competitors across those 2 crews. And it's probably quite good for their training as well to race each other.
Yeah, that's going. The Newcastle crew just not in the same league there. A couple of younger guys, Remy Keats and Darcy Gay and Zach Shara, both all have started this year, and Stephen Townsend, well, that explains why Stephen can go in the boat with them. in terms of the scores. So for those that don't know, there's scores associated with the grades, A, B, C and D grade, and they determine whether or what race you're in and all that sort of stuff. So
the more you win in grade events, the higher grades you actually move up. So if you were to win in D grade, you'd find that your what's called your grade point average, which actually move up a bit, and you'd actually go into C grade. Final race of the day here, Ben.
Newcastle Grammar and Newcastle Uni. Oh no, we had a clash of oars. That didn't look good. So Grammar and Uni, what a way to end the day. Could it end? This is the perfect ending because we've had...
You know what I think? I think those two were in the gift crew.
Yes,
the Newcastle University crew.
Yes, it's Mudjic and Jason Nissen. I haven't got the Grammar boys' names, but I'm pretty sure they were probably in it as well. So here we go. the grudge match.
This is the grudge rematch.
It's just summed up the day having this race to finish. And look, it's close, isn't it? Newcastle Grammar. This is going to be fun to call.
Newcastle Grammar prove themselves?
This is going to be very fun to call. So it's Newcastle Uni, Newcastle Grammar. There's a lot more at stake than what meets the eye in this one.
Lifted it straight up. They are pushing ahead.
So Newcastle Grammar as we come into the last 100 metres now. Newcastle Uni, how much have they got left in the tank? It's Newcastle Grammar with half a boat length now. Can Mudjic and Nissen pull it back? They're really trying hard, but Newcastle Grammar, look at this power.
Oh, wow, that is...
Two young boys doing a fantastic job in the championship men's double. And Newcastle Grammar, they did get over the line first in the Throsby Gift final. They get over the line first again in this one. Newcastle Uni in second. What a way to end the day. Newcastle Uni in second, as I said, Mudjic and Nissen there. And Newcastle Grammar in first place, ending the day with a win. And what a day it's been, Lachlan.
Oh, it's been incredible. Absolutely amazing day. In my opinion, it is one of the best regattas we've had here in a very long time.
Well, we are going to find out what the go is with the Throsby Gift, and whether we are going to get a presentation or that sort of thing. We will double check that. Jack, what is Jack, our producer, is just going to tell us what is actually happening.
We'll be staying around for a little bit where there's still no decision being made, so they're going to the judiciary of sorts, I suppose, whatever it being rowing is going to consult afterwards, and we're going to have a result then, but they won't rerun the race, is what I'm of the understanding.
Yeah.
So we're staying live. We're definitely staying live until we get a result.
We could be here for days by the sounds of that. We'll be staying with it a little bit, and hopefully we can find out where to from now.
All right, Hugh, if you just want to jump next to Lachlan, we'll have a chat, the three of us, about the day it's been today. It's been an awesome day. The Newcastle Grammar, Newcastle Uni, there was no better way to end the day than a battle between those two, was there?
Oh, absolutely. Look, that was the opportunity there, I reckon, to sort it out. You know, battle for young and old, literally.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, what have been your thoughts, both of you, on the day? I'll go with you, Hugh, first.
Look, as always, Newcastle's put on a great regatta. The weather's held out for us. A little bit of wind, but the water stayed relatively flat all the way throughout. And look, it's just a beautiful day. Great day of racing. Lots of new things. As always with this regatta, we've got the live streaming coverage to give us something new. Always something new and exciting happening here. The wave cutter race, that was something new to be excited about. And if anybody wants to, if anyone is watching this now, if you've been watching today or you're watching this later on a replay, keep your eyes open for this same regatta next year, because I think it's going to be something quite big.
Yeah, no, it is outstanding. Now, we've just heard something, there was going to be a re-row of a race. Did I hear that? I just heard something, there's a re-row. So, Hugh, if you and Lachlan want to take it, I'll go and find out what's happening.
All right, sure.
And then I'll come back and let you know what is the story.
Okay. Wind has just started to pick up there as well. Very lucky we just finished racing and it's just started to hit.
Yeah, just started to get a little bit choppy out there, but no, still the water's still actually remaining relatively calm. It's just
absolutely.
A little bit of a breeze here. Almost direct cross, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is making it hard to line up at the start there, so especially in the wave cutter where there's no keel on the thing, so no fin.
Yeah.
Lining up there with Murray Doust is a bit hairy.
Oh well, yeah. Pushed through with that for a great race.
Oh, it was great fun.
No, it's been a pretty amazing day here. Just to elaborate what you said earlier, yeah, it's just a lot of new things. We've got the new wave cutters. We've got this live streaming, which hopefully will open up the sport to a lot more people that are watching and think to themselves, yeah, I'd like to give rowing a go. And if that's the case, there's plenty of clubs around the Newcastle region, and pretty much every region where there is a waterway, you should be able to actually find a rowing club to give it a go. And we got Ben back.
You have to go check with John and just find out everything.
Yep, sure.
Come back here.
So now Lachlan's going off to see Newcastle Rowing Club President John McLoud, see if he can find out what the go is with this the deliberation on the Throsby gift race.
Well, Hugh, I do know that we have got one more race, so we'll keep the camera up there. Josh is still up there, so that's good. It's the Championship Men's Quad Scull. It's from 11:28 this morning, and it's Newcastle Grammar. It's sponsored by that company that's on screen there, Port of Newcastle. It's Newcastle Grammar and Newcastle Grammar. Sydney Rowing Club have gone home. Now, what happened was the race ran early, so they're going to compete. Sydney Rowing Club have gone home, so the race ran early. One of the grammar crews didn't row in it.
I did remember hearing of this.
Yes, so they are going to have a re-row and then compare the times to Sydney. But I don't know if that's... should they be comparing times? Because it's a different conditions, tide changes.
Yeah, look, it's certainly a tough decision to make. If Sydney were to get done on time, you'd certainly be feeling a bit bitter. It's sort of, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't on this one. I think Newcastle Grammar wants that chance to race, and they're going to get that chance to race. So what comes at the end of this, I really don't know. I don't know what to think on this one.
What a day! I don't think I've been at many regattas where we've had re-rows and we've had disputes. It's all been happening.
I reckon there's, like I say, this Newcastle Regatta, there's always excitement, and it's probably because we've actually had the live streaming today. It's probably brought to light some of the chaos that does go into a regatta.
Yeah,
a lot of these things like this happen all the time at regattas, but it goes unnoticed to 99% of the people here. But having this live streaming, we're able to report on it. And it does add that little extra edge, doesn't it? It makes it a bit more exciting.
Yes, that's exactly right. Now, Lachlan, what is the latest on the Throsby gift?
So we're going to have a jury meeting, or there will be a jury meeting by about 3:15, and then a decision will be definitively made in that meeting, and the presentation is going to be around 3:30.
Presentation is going to be around 3:30. So you will be able to catch the presentation on Bar TV tonight. We're going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes, so there you go. We will let you know who wins. Now, before we go, boys, who do you think should be just a final decision on who you think it should be given to? Now, we'll just recap it for our viewers that it was Newcastle Grammar crossed the line in first, Newcastle Uni crossed in second place. Bit of drama about the lanes, whether the uni boat had a hole in it. It was all happening. So, Hugh, what do you think will happen? Who do you think it should go to?
I'd hate to make an opinion call on this.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think it's part of it's one of the tough things about this particular race.
Jack,
you know,
still one more race.
Sometimes you've got to take a race like this, and it's going to have controversy in it like that, and that is one of the aspects of this race. It's a hard race. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not a walkover, this race. It does require an extra few set of skills, I think. And if they do make a decision, they do find that it's fair, that uni was infringed upon, well, fair play to them. But I find it tough not to. It'd be a very hard loss on Newcastle Grammar to have it taken away from them at the end like that.
What do you think, Lachlan?
I'm going to have to agree with you there, Hugh, and say that though there are grounds for a protest, I'm just not sure how valid those grounds are. And yeah, at the end of the day, Newcastle Grammar
they did push through. They did push through a lot, and we saw on the live stream there that there was a huge lift with around 100 metres to go that Newcastle Grammar just pulled it through. So personally, I think that there will be no change and that it will actually go to Newcastle Grammar, but that will only fuel Newcastle University there for next year, and we'll have a very interesting rematch next year.
Well, that's exactly right. So, well, it has been a long time between drinks for Grammar. So 2008 was the last win they did have. So we will get that to you on the Bar TV YouTube channel. As we said, when the TVs turn up, the drama's everywhere. There's the Grammar crew that is heading up. So they're comparing times from earlier in the day. The Sydney Rowing Club crew has gone home. It's going to be a Newcastle Grammar-a-thon, just the 2 Newcastle Grammar crews out there. And we're going to stick with that race. When that finishes, we're going to say our goodbyes, and then you can, as I said, you can catch all the presentation on the Bar TV YouTube channel. Now, boys, Newcastle Grammar, here they are, going at it again. How often have we seen it?
Quite a few.
So Grammar v Grammar.
That's right. Good. Who's get? Oh, here we go. We haven't got any bow numbers on either, so we don't actually know
who's going to be a tough one to call.
Yeah, who's in what lane?
I've got a prediction.
Yeah.
I've got a prediction. I think Newcastle Grammar is going to win.
Oh, gee. Tell you what, you'd be putting bets on this one, wouldn't you? Newcastle Grammar. I will just try and double check who is in these crews for us for the Quad Scull final. Would have been early in the day. Race 84 it was going to, so yes, it would have been very early. Here we go, we're coming up to it now. Race 84, here we go. So Newcastle Grammar will be James Lillyman, Henry Riddell, Oliver Wentworth and Nick McGrath. And then it's going to be tough to tell who's in the other race. It was Sydney that got through. No, my mistake. That will not be right because Sydney got through that event. So scratch that. They're not in that race. The Newcastle Grammar crew will definitely have Alex Oakley, Owen Brown, Jackson Gosling and Connor McDonald. And then the other crew was Blaine Stubbs, Kishok Pradipan, Jackson Lane and Jazz Cooper. That's who it should be. That's who it should be in the other race from memory. But that's only my memory going who won it. So
now we can see from the footage here, tough conditions up the start line. The boat's just drifting. It really, you want to have a quick start here. You don't want to muck about too long. And they're just getting into alignment.
And it's become a beautiful day, really, hasn't it?
It has.
Clouds have blown away and the bright blue skies come out. So it really, it's been a bit windy. That's the only thing I'd say about the regatta, but you know, you can't.
I think this spot's very prone to wind, and particularly in the afternoons. It's very rare, I found, to actually find a very calm afternoon. You've got to wait until more like 5, 6 o'clock to actually find it, but compared to last year, where we had a lot of white caps, this year's actually been really good in terms of actual water quality, which has been really great,
Yeah, we've been very lucky here. I mean, we still have, so yes, we have wind, but the water is relatively flat. And here we see the race has just started.
It's impossible to call, isn't it? You're like, Newcastle Grammar's ahead, and then Newcastle Grammar.
Newcastle Grammar. Who's it going to be?
Well, we'll see if it's the far side or the near side.
So the crew on the near side here looks to have just got a bit more edge out of the blocks here. They've got a little bit more speed, a slightly superior stroke rate. See over the far side there, a few struggles in those early strokes. Perhaps has cost them a little bit of ground. But,
great power from this near side crew. That's the crew with Alex Oakley, Owen Brown, Jackson Gosling, and Connor McDonald. I think that's one of their top quads, Grammar. And these guys were, well, these guys must have missed out on that race. The way they're rowing here, this must have been the reason, because they are still pairing. And this has to have been the group, the crew that missed out, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be rowing this powerfully, even though they've easily won it.
I reckon so. I mean, look at there's some real speed going there, and I can see why they wanted to have a good old go. Sydney Rowing Club's time could be under threat here. The decision is going to be interesting.
We've got a lot of decisions to make. Newcastle Grammar crossed the line, and there they go. And the other Newcastle Grammar crew will come through, but I'm pretty sure they were off the pace against Sydney Rowing Club anyhow. And very young crew out there, yes, a very young crew, the one that I said before. So they're going to come inside the last 50 metres, and the last race today, as you can see, very nice boat there that they've got. Oh, wooden boat with a very interesting and great to have it here. Yeah, Woodstock, there it is. So there go Grammar across the finishing line. Boys, time to wrap it all up, and we'll say goodbyes. But what are your final words on the regatta today? Firstly, you, Hugh.
As always, great regatta. Been a fantastic day. Weather's been put on for us. Some great racing, nice and tight, nice and fast. Really thrilling all around. And look, if anyone's been watching this live, or if you're watching this on a replay later on, as I said before, take note of what you've been seeing here today. Plan it out for next year. It's a regatta not to be missed.
Absolutely. And Lachlan, your thoughts on today?
It's been an incredible day. It's been one of the best regattas I've seen in a very long time. The weather has just been near perfect.
I always say it's the best regatta in the CDRA calendar. Would you agree?
It is without a doubt. It is the best. It's the funnest. It's it's got one of the best participation rates of all regattas, and it's just been an absolutely great time. So yeah.
The toughest quarter mile in sport. I just forgot to mention that. The toughest quarter mile in sport.
Absolutely, yeah.
What can I say to both of you? Thank you for volunteering today and helping us out with the commentary. It's been great fun.
It was really great fun. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having us.
And to everyone else out there, thank you for joining us here on Bar TV. Until next time, when we're back around the traps again. I'm not sure what it will be, but I'm sure it'll be something interesting. Thank you for joining us here on Bar TV from the Newcastle Rowing Regatta of 2015.